Case number 3035, Zackerson versus Farver. All parties, please come forward.
Sarabelle Zackerson is suing dog groomer Tracy Farver for negligence after losing her dog, Benji.
Miss Zackerson, you're a dog lover.
Yes.
And for years you had 5 dogs or 4?
5.
What kind did you have?
I have a Maltese poodle, I have a cabin poodle, I have a poodle, Shih Tzu, and some dog I found in the street. I don't know what kind it is, but yeah.
Small dogs?
Yes, small. They don't weigh more than 15 pounds.
And for a very long time, Miss Farver has groomed your dogs.
That's correct, just under.
How many years has she groomed your dog?
I can't exact the time, but it's going to be almost 10 years.
And you usually bring the dogs to her how often?
I never bring my dog to her house, always to their shop. She used to have a business shop they call TLC Grooming, and that's where I bring my dogs over.
When did that change?
December the 1st, I texted her, say, I'm going to bring my dogs tomorrow, 6 of my babies, to the shop. And then she said, oh, I was about to text you. I'm going to close the shop for good. And I said, oh, wow, what happened? She said, well, I had to take care of my husband. He's kind of sick with her heart failure stuff. So I don't want to be away from him. So you can bring them to my house and I can groom them. So, and I said, well, I want to send my brother over there.
So you were sending 6 dogs?
6. That day I sent 6.
And you decided to have your brother bring them to the house?
That's correct.
And that was on December 2nd?
That was December the 2nd.
Okay, and how long did the dogs usually stay there? For the day?
Say to end of the day, because they're 5.
So 1 full day?
Yeah.
How much do you pay her for the 6 dogs?
Depend what you do, because some of them go every week, some of them once a month, some of them twice a month.
How much did she charge for each dog?
If you go once a month, 50. If you go twice, 25. Depends.
So there's less work if you maintain the grooming?
That's correct.
Got it. So on December 2nd, who brought the dogs to her house?
My brother.
Is that this
That's
man
correct.
here?
Yep.
Okay. Could you step up, please, and tell me your name?
My name is Bishop Bean, and my sister's brother.
You brought the 6 dogs to the defendant's home?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me how you brought them into her house.
I brought them up to her and just gave it to her by the sliding door.
How?
Just one by one.
So you handed them to her individually, unleashed?
Yeah, by holding them on her.
And you just handed them to her?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you pull up in the car?
In the driveway.
You brought them into the door, or she came out?
I brought it to her.
Okay. Did you also pick the dogs up?
I picked 4 of them, but one was missing.
So only 5 were sent?
Yeah.
That day. When you went to pick up the dogs, you only saw 4, or did you see 1 and 1 ran away?
When I went to pick up the dog, I only realized that there were 4 and 1 was missing, and when I went to ask.
Where did you go? Did you go inside her house?
I didn't go inside the house.
Well,
I picked it up on the side of the driveway.
how?
They opened the door of the driveway. It's a big sliding door that they have that kind of open just a little bit, that they can hand me the dog.
She handed you the dogs?
Not her, but the son.
Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, stand up next to your mother. Okay, tell me your name.
Nicholas?
Nicholas, when the plaintiff's brother came to pick up the dogs,
Yes, ma'am.
how many dogs did you give him?
I gave him 4 and asked my coworker to bring out the other one.
You help your mother with grooming?
Not with grooming, but in the mornings I go to a park, pick up dogs that we had scheduled, and then bring them back. Later in the evening, I take them back to the park.
Okay, so you asked a coworker to go get the 5th dog, which was where? In a cage?
And that's what we believed, yes.
What do you mean that's what you believe? You say that you were...
Claims dog groomer Tracy Farver lost her dog Benji while in her care. Tracy is countersuing for the cost of draining her pool.
Okay, so you only turned over 4 dogs
Yes, ma'am.
to the plaintiff,
Yes, ma'am.
plaintiff's brother, and you don't know what happened to the 5th dog?
No, ma'am.
Personally?
Personally, no.
And you never saw the 5th dog on the 2nd?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know what happened to the 5th dog?
Yes, ma'am. The 5th dog was released to him. He had dogs in the vehicle and came back to ask me.
Just a second. Were you there?
Well, I was in the salon after the dogs had already been given to him.
Your son only gave him 4 dogs.
But he was not the only one involved in giving the dogs back.
Then you should have brought that person because you weren't there. You should have brought that person because you weren't there.
Should have.
Well, your son says he only turned over 4 dogs. He asked his colleague to bring out the other one. The other one wasn't there. Am I getting that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, so just don't talk to him. He's talking to me. You can have a seat now. Okay. So, Ms. Farver, bottom line is, you can sit down now.
Thank you.
The plaintiff's brother, at her direction, brought you 5 dogs. Only 4 were returned to her, so 1 was missing in action on your watch. 1 dog. That's clear. Now, she's suing for the negligence. She doesn't know what happened to that dog. You have a counterclaim that's sort of ridiculous.
Well, I have proof that she says that she lost her dog there.
Just a second.
He misunderstood.
Just a second.
And when he counted, he said that Benji ran out with them, but he said that Benji runs away all the time.
Just let me explain something. Let me explain something to you. Your witness that you brought with you today said he only turned over 4 dogs to the plaintiff's agent.
But he wasn't the only one that turned over dogs, and then he leaves that situation to go deal with another situation.
Deal with me, and I've said to you, then you didn't bring the second witness because you weren't there. You didn't bring the second witness to say, I did in fact turn over the dog to him. Did she? Just a second. Did you on December 2nd ever see that dog?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so you're responsible for that dog. Now, the dog was how old?
14 years old.
And what was the breed of that dog?
Maltese Poodle.
When you found out that that dog was missing, I gather you all went back and tried to find it.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
That you all went back and tried to find it, and you couldn't locate on your property. How much property do you have, by the way? How many acres property do you have?
It's about 1.5 acres. Do you want to see pictures? It's all...
No. I don't have to see
double
pictures. The
fence.
dog was missing. That's your problem. That's your problem. The dog was missing under your watch. So there's a question of damages because she's entitled to a certain amount of damage for the loss of her dog. Unfortunately, we talk about replacement value. You know, how much is a multi-poo to replace? I don't know. Could you look up, Sarah, the cost? Give me a general price of the cost of a multi-poo. They're cute.
Just on an initial search, so it looks like $2,000 to $3,000 when purchased from a breeder, but can go up to $4,000 for certain colors and reputation.
Okay, so we talk about replacement value. Replacement value is about $2,000. The dog was 14 years old. I'm not even factoring this in. You had that dog for 14 years?
Yes.
Okay, you're entitled to that. This is what your counterclaim is. Your counterclaim is ridiculous, and I'm dismissing it. You say that you were forced to drain the pool because they thought that maybe the dog fell into the pool, and it cost you $2,800 to drain the pool. I don't care. I don't care if you have to drain your whole house. Your counterclaim's dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
Well, I mean, I'm happy for Sarah Bell. You know that she feels like her grief was compensated.
When she lost my dog, she never told me.
You know, he was a known runaway and didn't have any identification and wasn't chipped.
You lose my dog. It's belonged like my son, you know, my kid. For 14 years old, it's meant a lot to me.
I wish that we would, I've always wished we'd find him.
I miss Benji a lot.
So I have a little issue with the concept, legally overarching, of the replacement value of things, dogs, even loved ones sometimes in wrongful death suits, because it doesn't get to the heart of what you actually lost. So yes, on a brief Google search, I could find a multi-poo puppy for, say, $2,500, but does that really make up for the 14 years that the plaintiff had with her original dog that the defendant lost in her care? I felt inclined, like I wanted to give her more for that pain and suffering of loss, but that's not what the law gives us as a remedy.
First, she didn't sue for that, but as a dog lover, I can tell you how excruciatingly painful it would be for me to bring Joey to a groomer and come back and they say, I'm sorry, we don't have her. I remember taking a dog many years ago to a groomer, And when I brought her back, she had a cut underneath on her belly. I wanted to go and commit a murder because the groomer hadn't told me about it. But for the fact that I saw drops of blood on my carpet, I wouldn't have seen it. So, it was a dog lover. And clearly, this plaintiff was a dog lover because she methodically had them all groomed.
She was talking about twice a month on occasion.
Twice a month, sometimes once a week. She clearly loved her animals and was careful with them. If she had this dog for 14 years, that's a pretty full lifespan for a dog. But very traumatic. You bring 5 babies in and you only get 4 back. I'm sure it wasn't purposeful on the defendant's part because she had been a great groomer and the plaintiff liked her. But she's responsible for the replacement.
I agree.
Are you a victim of a scam? Go to Judy. Grecia and Juan Galvan are suing their neighbor, Ruben Alonso, for vet bills after their dog was attacked by Ruben's dog.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3060, Galvan versus Alonso.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Galvan, that's your dog. Your dog's name is?
Yogi.
Yogi. And this is your dad?
Correct.
Miss Galvan, you and Mr. Alonso are neighbors?
Correct.
He lives across the street from you?
No, so he's actually 2 doors over to the left. So his house is the green one on the right side and mine is the yellow on the left.
Pink house is in between. How long have you lived in your house?
About 15 years now.
And your dog is 13?
Yes.
And Mr. Alonso, how long have you lived in your house?
7 years.
Who do you live there with?
With my wife and my kids.
How old are your children?
My oldest ones are 17 years old, and my youngest one's 13. And forgot to say my son, Jason Alonso. He's 24 years old.
He lives at home?
Yes.
And you have a dog?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's an American Bully.
American Bully is a combination pit bull and what?
Between a pit bull and an English bulldog.
A male dog?
Yeah, male dog.
How old is he?
He's 4 years old.
How long have you had him?
4 years.
How much does he weigh?
70 pounds.
And his name?
Max.
It is your claim, Miss Galvan, that your neighbor, Mr. Alonso's dog, bit and severely injured yours.
Correct.
Also causing some injury to your dad.
Yeah.
Mr. Alonso says that his dog was on a leash, your dog was not, and whatever fight or scrapping the dog has and the injuries to your dog were therefore not his responsibility because your dog was off leash. That's your defense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this incident happened when, Miss Galvan?
On the morning of April 28th at 4:30 in the morning.
4:30 in the morning?
Correct, yeah.
What was everybody doing up 4:30 in the morning?
I work at 5 a.m., so I was heading out to work.
And what was your father doing up at that hour?
He too works at the same company, so we carpool together, and he was walking my dog for me.
Would you ask Mr. Galvan to tell me what happened at about 5 o'clock on April 28th of this year when you were walking Yogi?
Estaba caminando mi perro.
I was walking my dog.
En el momento en que abrí el gate, estaba abriendo el gate.
At the moment that I opened the gate, I was opening the gate.
Could you walk up to the photograph and show me where you were?
Aquí.
You were over there.
Right here.
Estaba abriendo el gate.
I was opening the gate.
Oí pasos corriendo. Cuando volteé, miré al perro del señor.
I heard steps of something running. When I turned, it was the man's dog.
Where was the dog coming from?
De aquí.
From here.
Could you see Mr. Alonso?
No.
No.
Just the dog?
It wasn't true.
Perro cuando ya.
Shh, Mr. Alonso, you're going to have a chance to tell me your version of the events.
Miré al perro cuando ya estaba encima de nosotros.
I saw the dog when it was already on top of us.
Volteé y me golpeó en las piernas con el cuerpo.
I turned and it hit my legs with its body.
Me tambaleó y quedé recargado en el gate.
It made me tumble and I leaned against the gate.
Ya cuando reaccioné, el perro ya estaba atacando a mi perro de la espalda.
When I came to, it was attacking my dog on its back.
Fuertísimo. Lo movía feo.
Very harshly. It was shaking it badly.
Traté de estarlo auxiliando, quitarlo.
I tried to help him and to pull it off.
Why don't you step back now so that... Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Traté de estarlo sacando. Llegó mi hija a auxiliarme.
I tried to help, and my daughter came to help.
Y estuvimos forcejeando.
And we were struggling.
Stop one moment. Miss Galvin, at what point did you observe this interaction between your dog and Max?
Instantly. I was walking out of my house and I have full visual of my entire driveway, and I immediately saw when my dog started crying for help. The defendant's dog, Max, was mauling him and viciously attacking him.
What I want to know is when you came out of your house, because you didn't see how it started, you saw that Max was on your dog at that point. Did you see Mr. Alonso?
No.
I would like you to walk over. Your father will take him. Just walk over there and show me where you were when you came out and where your dad was with your dog.
Our front door is right about here, and I was walking out, and my father was here.
Right on the corner near the...
Opening the gate, correct.
Okay. Now you can go back. Miss Galvin, at what point did you see Mr. Alonso, if at all, that day?
After a few seconds of us trying to separate the two dogs, he did come out and try to...
So you saw him coming from his house?
Yeah, he was running from his house.
Running?
More or less.
And what happened when he got to where the two dogs were?
Well, the dog was unleashed and without a collar, so the defendant grabbed his back legs and attempted to separate the two.
Was he successful?
At the time, yes.
So Mr. Alonso grabbed his dog's back legs and pulled him off yours?
Correct, yeah.
And then what did he do?
At that instance, my father picked my dog up through his leash, almost strangling him, to put him on the car that was outside for his safety. The dog, Max, then lunged at my father. I intervened by kicking for his safety, and I got bit in my shoe.
It's not true, Your Honor.
When you say you got bit by Max?
Correct.
Did it go through your shoe?
No.
But
I did get bit, and I felt it.
Okay, but it didn't pierce your skin?
No. My main concern was my dog's damage.
Okay. And Mr. Alonso was finally able to pull his dog off yours?
Correct.
And off
actually
you?
He got dragged on the cement and
Who
the
did?
sidewalk. Mr. Alonso. His dog is very, very strong.
Would you show me, go back to there and show me, Miss Galvin, when you say Mr. Alonso got dragged, show me where. I saw where the incident took place in the corner.
Correct.
And where did his dog drag him? I wanted...
Grecia and Juan Galvan claimed their neighbor, Ruben Alonso, owes for vet bills after Ruben's dog attacked their dog. Ruben says his dog was the one attacked.
Where did his dog drag him?
So everything started here. We eventually tried separating the dogs towards this way. Mr. Alonso was dragged from this area down. The car was parked here, so we managed to put the dog on top of the car, and Mr. Alonso was on the floor wrestling his dog to control him.
You took your dog to the vet?
Immediately, yes.
You have the vet report and bill?
I do.
May I see it, please? Kevin? So your vet bills look in total to be about $4,600.
About 58, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I may have missed one.
He suffered a level 4 bite wound, and from
he was very seriously injured. There's no question. He was very seriously injured, spent a long time in the hospital. Okay, Mr. Alonso, the ball is in your court, sir. I'd like to hear your version of what happened.
The date on April 28, what happened, I was walking my dog with the leash. That's what I usually do every day before I go to work.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Shh, don't speak.
That's what I usually do when I go.
I don't care. Mr. Alonso,
Yes.
I want you to understand something.
Yes.
I don't care what you usually do.
Okay.
And there are certain things that are common sense.
All right.
Do you understand?
Yes. Okay, I was on April 28, I was walking my dog on a leash.
And I also want to tell you to be very careful what you tell me.
Okay.
Very careful.
April 28, I was walking my dog on a leash.
Show me where you were.
I was walking to the left, right here. That's my house on the green.
I know where your house is.
Okay, I was walking to this. When I noticed that the gate was open, and then when I was getting close by, her dog started coming out, barking to the sidewalk, biting my dog in the legs. Okay, biting my dog in the legs. Then when I start pulling out my dog from their dog, that's when Juan and Grecia came out. So they start grabbing their dog too. Okay, Grecia even apologized after the dog to the vet. And then later on, when she received the bill, she wanted me to pay her back.
Your
I said,
Honor.
shh, shh, shh. I said I wasn't gonna pay her back because it wasn't my fault or my dog's fault. They leave the gate open and their dog unattended.
I want to tell you something. I do not believe you.
Why not?
I don't answer questions. I get answers to questions, and then I have to say to myself, these two people, they were going to work at 4:30 in the morning. You were out at the same hour. Do you work at that hour?
I was about to go to work too. That's what I was taking my dog out.
There are other adults in the house.
Yes, I have 2 more.
Okay. They were all sleeping at 4:30 in the morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you opened your door, and you have to understand, sir, I am particularly unabashedly sensitive to pit bulls who are unleashed or not watched. Your dog is 4 years old. I don't know. I assume you have had no prior incident with your dog.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
That's not true.
We'll get to it. Last article, I keep them in my desk drawer, about pit bulls was a baby, a 3-month-old baby, left alone for a second with a pit bull. The pit bull gnawed off his hands. That was last week. So you have to understand that I'm particularly sensitive to a large animal that's capable of causing serious injury, being unattended for a second. You answered my question very quickly whether your dog, Max, had any prior incidents. You said no. Plaintiff seems to say that that's not true. Now, she's going to tell me about a prior incident, unless you want to tell me about it first.
I never noticed or nothing. Nobody informed me about another accident or nothing.
Your answer is you don't know about a prior incident with your dog.
Yes, I don't.
Is that right?
About it. Yeah.
Why don't you tell me what you know?
First things first, I have an animal control report that proves his statement of his leashed dog incorrect.
May I see it, please?
This is the second attack. Sorry about that.
Well, this recites your version of the events.
Correct.
And the report indicates you're Ruben, is that correct?
Yes.
That you ran out to the scene to try to separate your dogs. Did you speak to animal control?
Yes, I did.
You spoke to them on what date?
2 days after.
May 1st.
Yes.
So you spoke to them?
Yes.
Then this write-up incorporates what you told them, which is consistent with what Ms. Galvin testified to, sir. Okay, I don't know where you are showing me that this was not the first instance.
So the first instance was about a little bit over a year ago, where his dog attacked my dog and he didn't break skin. So animal control refused to create an actual incident report.
Tell me when that was. That was about a year ago.
Yes, so it was actually my mother who was walking my dog. I was out of state at the time. I have a witness statement if that helps for anything, but my mother was walking the dog where his dog was...
You were not there?
No, but...
Then I can't take that evidence because it's hearsay.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay, I understand. The second attack was on a 10-year-old German Shepherd walking in front of our house, walking on a leash by his owner. And again, the dog was out loose, without a leash or collar, where he attacked the German Shepherd.
Was that within the year?
Late January, yeah.
Late January of
Correct.
this year?
Only 5-6 months ago.
Did you observe that?
I did. I assisted in separating and keeping the German Shepherd safe.
Who came out of the Alonso house to retrieve their dog? Was it Mr. Alonso or his son or one of the other children?
I think it was his younger daughter.
What's your younger daughter's name?
No, I got 2. They're twins. So I don't know which one she's talking about. Because I never...
Well, you know them both, right?
Yeah, I know them both.
Just a second. Listen to me carefully.
Okay.
You know them both. Mr. Alonso, I don't want you to play with me.
I'm not playing with you, Your Honor.
So there's no question that if anything happened with a German Shepherd and one of your twins, who were not babies, came out and retrieved your dog, they would have told you about it.
I haven't heard from nothing from that.
Really?
He was involved, Your Honor.
What?
I spoke to him about the situation just days after the last incident with him. I brought the German Shepherd and the owner, and
Where's the proof?
Grecia and Juan Galvan have accused their neighbor, Ruben Alonso, of owing for vet bills after his dog attacked their dog. Ruben claims their dog was off-leash and started the fight.
Just a second.
He said, your dog barks a lot, that's why my dog attacked him. Your Honor, if my dog knew how to talk, we wouldn't be here.
Just a second. When you say that after this attack on your dog, the serious one.
Correct, yeah.
You brought the German Shepherd. Whose German Shepherd was it?
Somebody that lives in our community.
And the owner?
Yes.
To see Mr. Alonso.
Correct, because Mr. Alonso said that my dog was barking too much, and that's why Max attacked him.
Okay, so now you bring the German Shepherd. Your dog, Yogi, is at the vet.
No, this is a few days post-op. My dog was recovering inside, indoors.
Okay, so your dog is indoors, but wasn't with you when you went to confront Mr.
Correct.
Alonso with the German Shepherd.
Yes.
And the owner of the German Shepherd.
Correct.
Okay, and can you tell me what Mr. Alonso said during that confrontation about the German Shepherd? Not your dog. What did he say about the German Shepherd?
Nothing. His demeanor was very aggressive. He turned, he was up putting on some cameras in his home. He turned, did not say a word, and turned back around. And his son was there as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Stand up. Over there, please. Your first name?
Jason.
Jason. Do you remember Miss Galvin coming to the house? Your father was there. She was there with a German Shepherd and its owner. That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
Okay. Were you close enough to hear the conversation? That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
Did you hear the conversation about your dog at some point having a confrontation with the German Shepherd?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Tell me what you heard.
The plaintiff ended up bringing the owner of the dog over, and he...
The owner of the Shepherd?
Yeah, the owner of the Shepherd. And he said he didn't want to start no problems or nothing.
He didn't want to?
He didn't want to start any problems.
Who said? The owner of the Shepherd?
The owner of the Shepherd.
The owner of the Shepherd said, I don't...
He said it was an accident and stuff happens, and he didn't want no problems with this.
I want to know, before he said that, what was said about Max attacking the Shepherd?
The plaintiff was claiming that...
Plaintiff said
that Max bit the German Shepherd.
Okay. And the German Shepherd and the German Shepherd's owner was there.
Correct.
What did your father say?
He was just quiet during the instance.
Just a second. So he said nothing?
Correct.
Did you say anything?
At the current moment, I was actually holding the ladder stand because he was on a 10-foot ladder installing cameras. That is very unsafe for me to try to tell him anything.
Just a second. Did he come down from the cameras?
He was still installing the cameras as they came up.
Well, now there are two people there. One person there with a dog that he knows has been seriously injured by his dog, and a German Shepherd who I'm absolutely positive that one of your sisters discussed with him had an incident some months before. Don't say no, because I have to tell you something. You lied to me once. You lied to me once, sir.
That accident wasn't nobody said nothing to me about it. That's why I didn't talk to the guy, because I don't know if she...
Well, you talked to her. What I'm telling you, Mr. Alonso, is you lied to me once. I believe nothing else. Certain things are common sense. I have children. I've had dogs. If one of my dogs was involved in an incident, and I was involved in separating them, and I was involved in making the situation better, when my parent came home from work, I would say, let me tell you what happened. And they would tell you. Or they would tell their older brother what happened. And the older brother might tell you. But somebody would tell you.
It wasn't brought to my attention.
Wasn't brought to your attention. I'm going to bring something to your attention. Do you have homeowners insurance? Do you own your house?
I don't own a house. I rent the house.
You rent the house. Do you have renter's insurance?
Yes.
Does the renter's insurance that you have know that you have not a French bulldog? Because that's what it says here. Somebody identified your dog as a French bulldog. French bulldog is different from a bully.
I have a license that says it's not even a pit bull. It's an American bully.
It's classified in its own breed.
I actually know what an American bully is. It's not a French bulldog. Do you have a French bulldog?
We do not.
Your Honor, he has 3 in his garage at the time. And sometimes when he illegally breeds, he has 7 or 8 at a time.
It's not illegal.
Not true.
We got papers to prove that.
We're licensed breeders, Your Honor. All of our dogs are purple ribbon UKC show dogs.
That doesn't make this dog any less vicious.
Correct.
Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Dog caused serious injury, and either your father is just in a total state of denial or he hasn't been introduced to the truth. I don't know which one it is. Either way, I'm entering a judgment for them for the full amount of their vet bills. Now it's documented that your dog has attacked at least once. And if you let that dog or any of your other dogs out, they're going to take that dog and destroy it. You do know that.
Yes, we do.
And that will be your fault because you're the owner and the responsible person to make sure that a dog that is capable of serious physical injury Serious physical injury doesn't injure a person or another animal. That's your responsibility and any other adult who lives in the house. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $6,500. We're done. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
Taking the decision was bad. I mean, they tried to consider my dog a pit bull. He's not a pit bull.
She was just, she followed the truth, and that's all we could have asked for.
Their dog got out and started biting my dog, so my dog defended himself.
Mentira, porque él nunca lo miré, el perro apareció de repente sin collar, sin correa, y fue cuando nos empezó a tocar al perro y a mí.
It's a lie. He came and there was never a leash, neither a collar, and that's when the dog started attacking the dog and myself.
Probably set up another fence in front of our yard, probably establish something a little bit more secure than what we have now.
I've had him for more than half my life. I mean, that's my companion, my bud, my best friend, and to see him in pain for like weeks after was even equally as traumatic as the incident itself.
I definitely would say it'd be avoided. We will be taking precautions going forward, make sure this doesn't happen again.
The truth always comes to light.
I always say if you choose to get a breed of dog, that's your choice. And if the dog, for some reason, and dogs can go off, attacks you, you're a grown-up, you've made a conscious choice. But when you bring a dog that has the potential of causing serious physical injury or death into a house with young children, I actually think that should be an absolute liability for people who do know that certain dogs have the capacity to maim, and despite that, they choose that dog and bring a dog into a house with toddlers and infants. I just think that that's so irresponsible. I have a drawer full of those.
I have seen it. I know you too.
Of those cases that just are heartbreaking.
Are you having a family dispute? Go to Bailiff Cassandra Britt is standing in for Bailiff Kevin Roscoe, and Law Clerk Alexi Mincer is sitting in for Law Clerk Sarah Rose. Honesty Butler is suing her former friend, Walteria Flowers, for the cost of a car and stolen property.
Court come to order. All rise. Have a seat, please.
Good morning, Judge. Case 3074, Butlers versus Flowers.
Thank you. Ms. Butler, how long have you and Ms. Flowers been friends?
We became friends around the summer of 2022.
How?
We both lived in South Carolina, and then we both moved to Jacksonville, so it's kind of like we were just friends.
Did you see each other often before you decided that you wanted to buy her car?
Yes, ma'am. She used to come and pick me up all the time, and then I used to see her around the town that we lived in before we moved back to Jacksonville.
You didn't have a car?
No, ma'am.
Did you have a driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever have a car?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened to it?
I wrecked it.
You broke it?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you do that?
It was my fault. It was a failure to yield.
Oh, so there was a crash?
Yes, ma'am.
That was your fault?
Yes, ma'am.
On what day did you have a conversation with Miss Flowers about purchasing her car?
It was December 12th.
Of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car was it?
It's a 2010 Chevy Malibu.
When did you purchase it?
It was 2021, March 2021.
And why were you getting rid of it?
Because I had another car and I was getting another car too, so.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid $8,000.
Lexi, would you look up a 2010 Chevy Malibu?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2-door, 4-door, I don't even know how many doors.
4-door.
How many miles did it have on it when you purchased it?
It was 130.
Now, interesting, because a year later, you agreed to sell the defendant that same car for how much?
I agreed to sell it to her for $4,500, but I was selling it as is.
Just a second.
Okay.
Go back. We're going to get to as is in a second.
Okay.
That's not the final price you agreed on with her based upon these records.
No, ma'am.
What was the final price you agreed?
It was $4,000.
Is that right?
No, ma'am.
It was $3,500.
Yes, ma'am.
So the ultimate price that you agreed to sell the car for was $3,500.
No, ma'am. It was $4,000.
Show me. Show me 35.
Ma'am.
Private party, fair condition, between $6,000 to $7,800 for
6,000 to 78.
6,000 to 78.
Thank you. Okay, well, it was $4,000, but because of things wrong with the car, you said I'll take off $500 from the original price because there were more things wrong with the car than she originally thought. Is that what happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, it sounds to me, even at $4,000, you got a pretty good deal.
Yes, ma'am.
Because of what Lexi has told me about the current value of the car, which is the low end, $6,000, and at $3,500, even I would buy that car. It was a great value. This is what your case is about. It is your claim that you made all but $100 worth of the payments
Yes, ma'am.
on the car, and then the defendant, unbeknownst to you, came to your house at night and repossessed the car.
Yes, ma'am.
You say you only owed her $100.
Yes, ma'am.
Defendant says you owed her $7,000, but I think she's relying on the $4,000 figure. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's where the discrepancy is, and you took the car back.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Part of that had to do with, I gather, the two of you having an argument.
Yes, ma'am.
We fought.
Two of you having an argument. I'll get to that in a second. So you have a counterclaim.
Yes, ma'am.
You want the money back that you put into the car.
Well, not actually what I paid for the car and also the belongings that was in the car.
Okay, let's get rid of the belongings. She did have some stuff in the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have it with you?
Yes, ma'am, I have some of it with me, like her debit card and her purse that she had in there.
Okay, and what about the iPad?
She never had an iPad in there.
Okay.
I took a picture of everything.
Okay, Cassandra, would you go over there, please? Take all of that stuff and move it over to the other table. Those cards belong to her?
Oh, this one's my ID.
Okay, so now you want back what you paid for the car.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant says you didn't finish paying for it. She had every right to repossess it. Let's take care of the car first.
Yes, ma'am.
How long did you drive the car?
From December of 2022 to May of 2023.
The beginning of December?
No, ma'am.
Around the middle, like
All right,
my
so-
first payment was on the 12th.
Okay, when did you repossess the car?
I got it June 4th.
So let's make it January, February, March, April, May. So you had the car 5 months.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have the car now.
Yes, ma'am.
So she owed you really $100 when you took it back. Who paid the insurance on this car?
Everything was still in her name.
So she paid for the insurance. Is that right? Did you have insurance on the car or not?
No, ma'am.
No. Let me understand this. She's driving around with a car that's in your name that doesn't have insurance on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is the car now?
It's parked in my yard.
Where's the title to it?
I have it.
I'd like to see it. And you repossessed the car just a few months ago, is that right?
No, ma'am. June 4th. Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's a couple of months ago.
Oh, okay.
Great. Where's the back of this title?
I just sent it as evidence. I don't have the title with me, but that's the title. It's in my name.
Have her sign this. You're signing over the title to the car for her. Sign it over. I'll notify. Sign it over to her. We're going to give you the $100 that she owes you. Sign it over to her. You do understand, Miss Flowers, you came here to court today from where?
Jacksonville, Florida.
And you want to get home, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've got an appearance fee for coming here?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. All that's being withheld until you sign the title over to her. Do you understand?
Okay.
Great. Okay. So now you're going to have 5 days to get your car.
Your Honor.
And I'm awarding her on her counterclaim. You got your property back. I'm awarding her on her counterclaim. So far, $100, because that's what you owed her on the car. And it was done a few weeks ago. The car is there. Within 5 days, with a marshal, go and pick up your car. Do you understand? Okay. Within 5 days of today's date, she's coming to pick up the car with a marshal. Don't do anything to the car because you're not getting any cash until she has the car.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Perfect.
Honesty Butler claims her former friend, Walteria Flowers, owes for the cost of a car and stolen property. Walteria is countersuing for the balance of the car and an assault.
Now, let's get to your counterclaim. I've already given you the remainder owed on the car, which is $100. But now your counterclaim is about an assault. Tell me when this assault took place.
It took place on June 3rd.
And what date did you retrieve the car, just from my memory?
It was June 4th. Well, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so it was right after this fight?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So why don't you tell me what happened?
Me and her, after, we got into the little argument about the car, I blocked her on everything, and I just told her what she owed me. So she proceeds to threaten me, saying she would be at my house in my car, her and her cousin. So me and my...
Can I see what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she tell this to you on the phone or in text?
In text, miss.
I'd like to see the text.
I have a voice recording of her saying it.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to see that. Even better. Though I'm deaf, it's even better. Now, is this argument, by the way, while you're looking for it, this argument was about the balance due on the car?
Yes, ma'am. It was something before that, but then it led to the car. I guess it's the service in here. It's having trouble.
You don't have service?
If you don't have service on the phone so I can hear it, I'll look at the text.
Okay. Right here. Okay, yeah, that's...
Thank you. Okay, so before I read these, I gather from the plaintiff there was an incident that preceded June the 3rd.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and tell me on what date that incident was.
Okay, June 3rd, we got into this.
Well, I know what happened on June 3rd, but that was about the car.
Oh, no, ma'am. It was earlier that day that we was talking about whatever happened.
Okay, well, why don't you tell me about that?
Okay, so it was something going around on social media about people being behind a fake page or whatever. So I was exposed on a fake page. She was exposed
on a fake
Snapchat or something. It was something like people saying bad stuff about people on the Snapchat. So
you understand that?
No.
Okay, so it was someone
I thought it was a younger thing, and I just didn't understand it. So that's
okay.
Explain it to him.
Okay, someone made Snapchat, right? Okay, someone made a Snapchat that nobody knows like who it belongs to. They posted pictures of me on there saying bad stuff about me. They posted something about her also, and about my baby's father and other people. So Honesty texts one of the girls that they thought it was behind it and told them that it was me. By me and her still being friends, I was lost. Like, why would you text someone that's not even friends with you saying that it was me? So she said, and I have it in the text message, in the evidence, she says that, and if I did say that, y'all shouldn't be behind fake pages anyways, y'all too grown for that, keep me out of that. So I said, to solve all that, just pay me the money you owe me. To make it fair, just pay the money you owe me for the car, and I sign over the title, and we have nothing else to talk about. Then I blocked her. So then she gets on Instagram and texts me and made a voice message about, oh, I don't owe you such and such. I'll be at your house when I get off in your car or whatever to fight. So me and my friends was at this park called Lonnie C. And Honesty came out there and went live, was on Facebook Live, and I have the video. And was saying all kind of stuff on the live about me towards me. And that's when she came up to fight me, like at the park.
Your Honor, that is not true.
Yes.
Okay.
I have the evidence.
Did you?
Yes. Rumors were being spread, but...
On the internet?
On the internet. No one knows the source of the rumors. And then there were some allegations that maybe it was the defendant who was the source of the rumors. Right. Says not true. Escalated, and then started live streaming a fight.
Right. She gets...
Ooh, okay. You have the live stream?
Okay.
Okay. So we just hit the play.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You can hit that play button right there.
Lie, you a lying. I got all the messages, and don't play with me about no $700, because, bitch, I will be at your house when I get off work. Hold on, play with me. I don't owe you no $700, and you know I don't. You better find somebody to play with, bitch.
Works and plays well with others. Isn't that a check-off sign someplace? Okay, tell me what happened when you met with each other.
I was at the park already, me and my friends, the witness.
What were you doing at a park? How old are you?
I'm 21.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in nursing school.
How old are your children?
8 months and 2 years old.
Who do you live with?
It's me and my boyfriend. We got a house.
Boyfriend, the father of these two children?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were at the park with your friend with your children?
Oh, no, ma'am. It's just me, my friend, and my other friends. They always have stuff at the park, so.
Where were your children?
Well, one was in South Carolina, and the other one was with her grandmother.
Which one was in South Carolina?
My 2-year-old.
Who was in South Carolina?
I'm from South Carolina, so my family is there.
Who was the baby with?
Oh, her godmother.
Why?
Because we just sent her down there occasionally to be with her godparents.
Okay. So you were at the park. You went to the park.
No, ma'am, that is not true. I was with my friends and my cousin, and they had a graduation party. My friends was there. We went there after work. We was at the park first, which I can pull up the video and show you we was at the park first. They came to the park afterwards. I did not hit her first. She walked up to me because in the video, you're gonna hear my friend saying, "Friend, turn around, turn around." She hit me, and I don't understand how it's assault because as they're breaking up the fight, none of the people I was with
May I
broke up the
see your
fight.
video
Yes,
where
ma'am.
she hit you first? I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Misty Butler has accused her former friend, Walteria Flowers, of taking her car without permission. Walteria is countersuing, claiming Honesty assaulted her after taking the car back.
She's going to show me a video, Miss Flowers.
Yes, ma'am.
And her video, according to her, let me just get this straight, is going to show you hitting her first.
No, ma'am, it's not.
It's not. I'm sorry. It's not going to show her hitting me first, but it's going to show me walking, and my friend is going to be saying, turn around, turn around. When I turned around and basically I dropped my phone, she hit me, and that's when we went to fight.
But that's not going to be on the video.
You're kind of going to see it a little bit.
All right, I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
A little bit is better than nothing, usually. You have also things that you want me to see on your phone?
Yes.
Would you get them up, please, so I...
Oh, it's up there.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am, I can.
Thank you.
I have the fight right here. This sound is right there. I already turned it. The only thing you have to play is the play button.
Okay, while she's looking for us, I'm going to take a look at this.
And here you go.
Who's the one on the ground?
I'm on the bottom. She's on top of me.
It's terrible. I don't understand it when women fight. It's just so... I mean, I can't understand when men fight either, but you sort of expect it of them. But I never understand how women can do physical contact with other women in anger. Can't understand it, not in anger either. All right, let me see what she's got.
She better come right here and let this hoe sneak me. Oh my God. Give me the phone. All right, bitch, be coming right here. What?
It looked to me like there were times in that video when she was on top and times when you were on top.
I never got on top. She kicked me in the face and all while I was down. I would never got on top.
Just said, were you wearing the red pants?
Pajamas, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you were wearing the red pants, right. I'll take a look at your pictures. It seemed as if somebody else who was in that mob, and it was very hard to tell, was kicking somebody.
Your Honor, that was me. I kicked her. We were fighting, and her witness is she jumped in the fight and she actually hit me in the head.
Love a person who tells the truth all the time. Right? Thank you. No. Okay. Ladies shouldn't fight. You shouldn't be in the same place together if you're not getting along together. You don't go to the park together. But this was a fight. Looked to me from that video is that you were both willing participants in that altercation. So I'm dismissing your counterclaim, with the exception of the $100 that she owes you for the balance of the car. So in this case, the car is transferred permanently to the plaintiff with her payment of $100. Your counterclaim for assault is dismissed. You have 2 children. Do you have kids?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, don't fight. It's not ladylike. All right, we're done. We're done. Court is adjourned.
It was not a bad car. It is now because I don't know what she did to it, but it's not a bad car. But I'm just glad she got it back out my hands.
I took good care of the vehicle. I got it fixed multiple times, spent almost $2,700 into getting the car fixed.
It's just messed up, like drivable and everything.
She told me that she reported it stolen since it was in her name, but she actually kept a spare key, and she came into my yard at like 3 a.m., I believe she said, and she just drove off with it while I was asleep.
I guess because she's immature, and some people just do immature things.
We're no longer friends.
I think what we saw in there was two women square up, get into a fight. Obviously, no one wants to see it, a terrible result, but you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and the court is not going to step in and figure out what happened here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. People generally shouldn't fight. I always find it unnerving when I see women who are supposed to be triple process thinkers, all women, but especially somebody with two young kids. Take yourself out of harm's way. Don't put yourself in harm's way. But if you do, don't ask, you're right, don't ask, of course, for your help.
Absolutely.
Thanks. You have a barbershop business. The defendant left your employment.
Correct. I opened my own business.
You signed this non-compete agreement.
Yes, I did, but under duress.
You cannot open up a competing business 2.8 miles away from her.
This is crazy.
That's what she's entitled to do. She's the boss, applesauce.
This is Judy Justice. Nicole Messino is suing her former employee, Felicia Stella, for breach of contract, slander, and loss of income.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 3095, Messino versus Stella.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Messino, you have a barbershop business.
Correct.
How long have you had it?
Since 2016.
How many people did you have working for you when you had the most people working for you, the most barbers working for you?
Currently, right now, I own 2 barbershops, and right now I have 11 employees.
When did you purchase the second shop?
The middle of December.
2023.
2023, yes.
The defendant worked in the initial shop.
That's correct.
Starting when?
In 2017.
Until when?
Until August 6th of 2022.
From what I read, all of the people that worked for you up until a particular time, and that would probably be around 2022, were 1099 employees, which means they were independent contractors. So at the end of the year, you gave them a Form 1099, they took care of their own taxes.
Correct.
At some point, according to you, you decided to make everyone employees.
Correct.
And at that time, you also decided to have all of your people sign agreements. And the agreements provided that they could not open up a barber business within a certain radius of your business.
Correct.
The defendant left your employment and opened up her own barbershop.
Correct.
She left your employ on August the 6th of 2022?
Correct.
And when did you open up your own barbershop, Miss Stella?
October 25th of 2023.
October 25.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was 2022. I apologize.
May I see a copy of the contract that you had with Miss Stella? Because what you're suing for is breach of contract.
Correct.
This contract. And slander. Well, you signed this agreement, madam.
Yes, I did, but under duress.
Just a second. I didn't ask anything. You signed this agreement. I mean, I understand what you are alleging. You're alleging that you signed it under duress. Now, Sarah, would you look up for me non-compete agreements, Pennsylvania?
Sure.
The Pennsylvania law on the parameters of a non-compete. How many miles?
It's 3 to 5 miles in the state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, well, that's what Sarah's going to check.
I'll let you know. Give me 1 second.
Okay, so you signed this non-compete agreement. It is your defense that she threatened to terminate you if you didn't sign it. That's your defense.
No, I didn't.
To this.
And more.
Yes.
There's more than that as well.
But that's your defense to this, to signing this agreement, that she said either you sign it,
yes, ma'am,
or I'm going to fire you.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's okay. She could do that. It's our business.
In the state of Pennsylvania, there's contract law. There's three things that go with that. There's an offer, and then there's an acceptance and consideration.
Let me explain something to you. The laws of contract in every jurisdiction are the same. There has to be initially an offer, an acceptance, and consideration. That forms the basis of any contract.
Yes, ma'am.
There is an offer, an acceptance, and consideration.
No.
Absolutely, there is here. It's not as if Miss Stella, she said to you, if you don't sign this agreement, I'm going to amputate your arm at the elbow.
Okay.
That's different. She's allowed to say to you, I'm not hiring anybody or maintaining in my employment anybody who doesn't sign a non-compete clause. They're perfectly valid.
Okay.
And she's allowed to say that to you. You're allowed to leave. This is America. And she's allowed to fire you. She's the boss. She's allowed to say to you, in my shop from now on, everybody has to wear a uniform. I don't want to wear a uniform. Then you're fired. You don't have a right to a job unless you meet the requirements of your employer. The only question that I have is how many miles?
So there's not a set radius. It's all about reasonableness. The geography must feature a limited geography, for example, within a defined area such as a city, normally unenforceable to prohibit employees from working for any competitor across the country.
No,
but as long as it's
that's too onerous.
Exactly. But as long as it's a defined geography, it tends to be reasonable.
Okay. So what you're saying, Ms. Stella, is that you have proof that in the state of Pennsylvania, it either has to be 3 or 5 miles. It can't be both.
It's just, it just says between 3 to 5 miles. I do not have that proof. I apologize.
How many miles is the shop that you opened up from her shop?
It's 2.8 miles away.
Well, that's too close, madam. She's absolutely right. You breached her contract.
Okay. If I took her clients, then
you breached her contract. It says that you cannot open a competing business for 5 years, and you certainly fall within the radius. You violated this contract.
Okay.
She's absolutely right.
All right.
When you left in August of 2022, where did you go?
I left. I didn't have anywhere to go.
So when was the next time you worked?
When I opened my own business.
And when you opened your own business, that was 3 months later.
Yes, sure was.
Don't be snippy, Miss Stella. It was 3 months later. How many of her barbers came with you?
3. 4 of us.
3
total. 4 total.
4 total. You and 3 others. Uh-huh is not
Yes,
an answer.
ma'am.
Yes is the answer.
I'm sorry.
Yes is an answer. And the 3 others, did any of them come from her shop?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, well, it's a breach of contract. It's clear.
They all left on their free will.
Okay.
I can't. I apologize.
Breach of contract. You have a counterclaim, which is interesting. And your counterclaim is for money owed for defamation of character, slander, harassment, and emotional distress.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not interested in the signing of this agreement.
Okay.
I'm interested in how you claim the plaintiff defamed you.
Well, her and her husband had a whole conversation about me on Facebook, ma'am.
Just a second. I'm not interested in her husband.
Okay.
I'd like to see what you claim she did to defame you.
She proceeded to write emails to my family.
Just a second. All I have to do is see what you claim she did to defame you.
It says that I have a current
Kevin,
record.
would you please get what she says she believes is actionable? Maybe.
She said I was stealing company time.
Hold on. Could you please just hand it to me?
Yeah. That I've been manipulating people. Your Honor.
Don't speak. Julia. And who is Julia?
My sister.
Okay. You wrote an email to Julia.
I wrote a heartfelt email
Just a
to
second.
Julia.
Just say what. Who cares? Next.
I do, because I'm a recovering
just a second.
addict, and for
Just
you to
a
go
sec-
out and
just
say
a
those
second.
things.
She's allowed to write a private communication to somebody. That's
a
not
third party?
published. That's not published.
not
You
true?
say she's defamed you publicly. She's allowed to write whatever she wants in a private letter to somebody.
She stopped a police officer and lawyer on the street and told him that I was using drugs, actively using drugs.
Just a second. If you have that person here, I'll actually hear them. But you don't. I'd like to see what you claim is actionable that she wrote about you. You said she posted something on Facebook. Well, Facebook is a public forum.
Yes, it is.
A letter to your sister is not a public forum. All I care about is what she wrote. Fine. Oh, she says the cancer is gone and the entire aura of the shop has changed. The dark cloud is gone. It's almost a clean slate with your new employees. You can expand and turn Giovanni's into a barbershop powerhouse. It was meant to me. What defamation is that? You talk. What
The cancer, like I'm not a cancer.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Right.
She went around and told people that I was actively using hard drugs, ma'am.
Madam!
Okay.
Nicole Messino claims her former employee, Felicia Stella, breached their contract and stole her customers. Felicia is countersuing for harassment, slander, and defamation.
If you bring me a witness, I will hear you. I'm not hearing what she told a policeman on the street or what she told strangers. Nothing that you've shown me that was published is defamation. What else?
I was countersuing also for mental anguish. Your Honor, I am a recovering heroin addict, and I am open about that. And I tell people that.
Just a second. You have to understand, I didn't say that, and good for you if you got your life back on track. Terrific for you. But in order to have emotional distress, you have to have somebody who's guilty of something that's illegal or against the rule of civil law. So far, you have nothing. This doesn't say anything, that the cancer is gone and the aura of my shop is now different. You may have been hurt about it, but that's not actionable. Do you understand?
I do. I thought because there was a full conversation, that was my misunderstanding, that there was a whole conversation between her and her husband on social media with my name in it. So that was,
Sorry. And you breached your contract, Miss Stella.
Right. Your Honor, may I say something?
About what?
About the contract, and because I am also a former employee of hers.
No, you can't. Did you sign a contract?
I did.
She threatened to fire you if you didn't sign it?
Correct.
That's what she's entitled to do. She's the boss, applesauce. She's the boss. People in this country think that they're entitled to jobs. Once you have a job, you're entitled to keep it. Pay attention. You're entitled to fire anybody that works for you. I can look at Kevin and I can say, you know what? Last year I loved you. This year not so much. You're fired. He has a contract. I have to pay him out of his contract. I would never say that to him because I adore him. But he's capable of being fired. He's capable of being fired for anything other than a violation of the Constitution, which means you're being fired for race, religion, sexual orientation, probably a couple of other things that I've forgotten, some of which I think are absolute nonsense. But they're entitled to fire you if you refuse to sign an agreement that prohibits you from stealing their clients and their employees. They're absolutely entitled.
I was an independent contractor for 8 years. Tell me how they were her clients. They were not her clients.
You violated the terms of the contract. You cannot open up a competing business 2.8 miles away from her within
she tried to make me on
3 months. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $10,000. You count the claims dismissed. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
Apparently I was a cancer that worked there. Apparently people didn't like me.
I think it was very fair. She signed a non-compete.
When I quit, so did 5 other of her staff members.
She turned all my employees against me, and she staged a walkout and took them because I was making changes to my business.
We're doing great. We're thriving. We're growing. And things have just been beautiful.
You know what? May the best business win because she pushed me to go further. I opened up a second barbershop, and bye, Felicia.
You know, I still can't get past the fact, Sarah, that in this country now there's a sense of entitlement that once you start a job for a reason, for a non-reason, and we're not talking about the violations of the Constitution. We're talking about
parameters set by bosses.
Parameters. You have to be in at 9 o'clock. Well, but I can't because I get up late, I'll stay later. I can't be in by 9 o'clock. You're fired. Period.
Yeah.
I want you to continue to be my employee, But we're changing from 1099s to employees. If you don't sign this agreement, you're fired.
Yeah. As soon as I read the papers, I knew the defendant had misunderstood the definition of duress because it was smeared all over her answer that I only signed it under duress, duress this, duress that. Well, being offered the handbook of the place in which you were employed and being offered a choice of these are the new requirements. If you like it, great, sign
If
it,
not,
continue
if
working,
not,
and if
adios.
not, goodbye.
Yes.
And that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, but don't sign it, then go off and open up 2.8 miles away a competing business and take 3 people with you. Yeah, that's a no-no.
Shuffler is suing his half-brother, Jonathan Doucette, for damages from an assault in a moving vehicle.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please. Kevin?
Hello, Judge. Case 3101, Chauffeur versus Duquette.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chauffeur, the defendant is your much younger half-brother.
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
40.
And you, sir?
23.
And from what I gather from the papers, your mom died 3 years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were living with her at the time?
No, I was not. I was actually staying in my own rental place in the same hometown of Eunice, Louisiana.
Were you working?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did there come a point when you stopped working?
Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
It was shortly after my relocation to Arcadia, Florida, and I was out of work for several months.
So you relocated shortly after your mom died. In Florida, is that where your brother lived?
No, he lives on South Beach.
But also in Florida?
Yes.
And when you moved to Florida, from what I gather from the papers, things didn't go well for you. You lost your job. And your brother asked you if you wanted to come and live with him, at least temporarily.
Yes, ma'am.
You would say that's nice of him.
Yes, ma'am.
And who does your brother live with?
His best friend, Ivan.
And Ivan was okay with it?
Yes, ma'am.
So in what month and year did you pack up your things from Arcadia and move in with your brother?
I actually do not have an exact recollection of that date and time. It was November of 2020.
So right in the middle of COVID. What kind of house does your brother have? House, apartment?
It's a condo.
How many bedrooms?
1.
Where did you sleep?
On the sofa.
So it was clear then that you're a grown man, he's a grown man, he's got a roommate. I assume you split the costs of the apartment with the roommate?
He's my partner.
Do you split the costs?
No.
You don't? Who pays the rent?
He does. He pays the mortgage and everything.
So he pays all of the expenses. By the way, how was your partner with your brother moving in?
He was happy with him coming. I mean, because, you know, he thought it would be good for me and that it would be good for him because where he was living before, he was not living in very good conditions and not with a very good person. And from the day that I met the person he was living with before, I said, he's got to go. I didn't want him there anymore, you know? So when the opportunity presented itself, I asked him to come live with me, and he came.
Okay. So we were staying on the couch. There's 1 bedroom, and I assume that you weren't contributing to any of the household finances.
I have a monthly rent of $300.
So you pay them $300?
A month, yes.
And when did that start?
It was about a year and a half after when I had picked up my first job.
Okay, so you lived there rent-free, and they covered your expenses for a year and a half.
Yes.
Nice. But then, what I gather from reading these papers, things started to get sticky, because I assume you knew that this was not a permanent arrangement, sleeping on a couch. You knew that.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not the way, you live in a 1-bedroom apartment sleeping on the couch. It was supposed to be temporary. And I gather things got a little testy, because you ever heard of the old adage that fish and company start to smell after 3 days? Ever hear that?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, now we're into your 3rd year. And you both acknowledge that there was some arguing in the house after a period of time?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Between the 2 of you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What about his partner?
His partner was not involved in the argument. My partner he wouldn't tell him anything, but he would come to me anytime he did anything that he didn't like. I would have to hear about it.
Okay. He's your brother, you take care of him.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes, ma'am.
So there had been one such argument, and then from what I'm reading, you had a doctor's appointment.
Yes, ma'am.
And there had been a little episode maybe the night before or the day before, so you thought maybe it would be a good idea for your brother to drive to the doctor's appointment where you could have a discussion with him.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was on the 15th of May of 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
So you want to tell me what happened that morning and getting into the car, because it is your claim that your brother assaulted you and physically injured you during the course of that car ride to the doctor. That's what this case is about.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was a little upset with Johnny because the night before he was yelling and cursing at me with the door open, and some of my neighbors came outside and they were looking at us and they were like, what's going on? And that became kind of common with him because he likes to yell and scream. I'm a very soft-spoken person. I don't yell and scream even when I'm mad. I stay very calm. And, my partner was complaining to me, and we were kind of at odds with each other because of this over the last few years. I mean, when he comes home, he doesn't even talk. He just goes straight to his bedroom and closes the door, like my partner does.
Oh.
Like, he wasn't even talking to me. He was, very angry with me because of this, because he blames me in a way for how he behaved.
Okay.
Stephen Shuffler claims his half-brother, Jonathan Doucette, assaulted him when he was driving, resulting in a permanent scar.
So you're going to a hematology appointment. Did you ask your brother to join you, or did he?
He wanted to come. He insisted on coming because he didn't want to be left home alone. And he usually would accompany me to the doctor's office anyway. Like, he would most always come with me. Even if we were not arguing, it didn't make a difference. He would almost always come with me. And so we started driving, and when we were in the express lane, and there's no way to stop in the express lane because there's no shoulder, when he opened the door and was saying he was going to jump out of the car.
No, but you were arguing before that.
What I was telling him, I told him, is basically that Ivan had enough and that I had enough and that he needed to move out. He needed to go back to his family in Louisiana, or he needed to make some other arrangement because I couldn't take the stress anymore. I had health problems at the time.
Is that what he told you?
Yes, ma'am. I just couldn't take it anymore because of the stress.
How did you respond to that?
Not well.
Tell me what you did.
We were having a discussion about what had happened the night before, after he had talked about him and Ivan having an issue with me. I mean, at the point of I wanted to go with him to the doctors to smooth this over. And more or less, it was to the point where he was just verbally berating me at that point, and it was...
Did he tell you that both he and his partner wanted you to move and find a suitable place to live?
Yes.
And when he told you that, and you reacted badly, did you try to open the car door?
Yes, ma'am. It was only a ruse, though. I just wanted him to stop.
That was in your mind, that it was only a ruse. You asked him to stop. Your brother said, can't stop here. It's in an express lane. You're on a highway?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're going at least 50, 60 miles an hour on Parkway. And you went to open the car door. I'm going to ask you, at that point, you're pretending, but he doesn't know that you're pretending to open the car door. I want you to tell me what happened, Mr. Doucette.
Well, when I opened the car door in order to make an attempt to have him cease the verbal beating that he was giving me, he reached over, and in my perspective, I thought he was violently grabbing me, and I acted on impulse.
How did he grab you? By the shirt, by the hair?
Elbow.
So you're driving,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I assume his right hand grabbed you like this. Is that right? And grabbed your left elbow.
Yes, ma'am.
And your reaction was to hit him.
Yes, ma'am.
So you took your right hand and hit him. Where did you hit him?
In between his eyebrows.
Did the car stop?
No.
Kept going?
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
I imagine it was hardly 15 to 20 minutes before we got him to the hospital.
Well, you got him to the hospital because he was bleeding?
Yes, ma'am. Profusely.
Do you have the hospital report, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, because we already then have the fact that he put his hand on you, in all probability, to stop you because he thought you were going to jump out of the car. Your reaction was to punch him. That's what happened. It's not so crazy unusual. There's a bad cut there. Was that just from your hand, or did you have a ring on or something? That's a pretty bad cut, so that's pretty powerful.
It was my knuckle bone.
No, that's a pretty devastating blow. You're lucky you could drive.
Yeah.
Well, it was clearly, Mr. Doucette, an assault on your brother, and he was clearly injured. That's what the basis of this case is. When did you move out?
Almost 2 months after.
When did he move out?
It was a few months later. It was like maybe in October, the beginning of October, or September or October.
When did you file this case?
A few months ago, like in October, I think. I filed it with the court just a few weeks ago, actually. I thought you meant with you guys.
Is what you're saying that you filed this case
Just
to
after
appear
New
before
Year's.
me in October, and then you filed it in court sometime more recently?
Yeah, in January, the beginning of January.
In court?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have medical insurance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the medical insurance covered most of your medical bill?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there any payment beyond that?
I had to go to Pensacola to visit a plastic surgeon that I'm friends with to see if there was anything he could do for me. I went to see him twice, and basically he gave me silicone gel to put on the scar. He's a good friend of mine, and so he didn't charge me anything.
Okay, you don't see it really. As you get older, you find that you look at yourself a little less, or you put the mirror a little farther away. You don't see these little things, otherwise you would have nightmares and be up all night. So you stayed home for a couple of months. How was the couple of months that you spent before you moved out after the assault?
I felt terrible.
I assume that you did. Where are you living now?
In West Palm Beach.
Good. With whom?
Shelter.
Is that the shelter that you moved into when you moved out of the condo?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you working?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what the shelter is like, Mr. Doucette.
Just very nice people, generally keep to themselves. I keep to myself, and
Have your own room?
I share a room with another person there.
Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You see a doctor regularly?
Yes, ma'am.
Weekly?
Weekly, yes, ma'am.
Weekly. Through the shelter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I also see a therapist weekly through the shelter.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, my bad.
Okay. All right, good. So it sounds as if you're in a reasonable place now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So you acknowledge how badly you felt after this assault. It was really an unprovoked assault. He was probably trying to pull you back so that you wouldn't hurt yourself. Because I have a feeling that your brother loves you a great deal. But you're probably better off outside of somebody else's social situation, by yourself, whether it's by yourself at a shelter or hopefully someday in a place of your own.
Stephen Shuffler claims his half-brother, Jonathan Doucette, assaulted him when he was driving, resulting in a permanent scar.
In any event, you understand, Mr. Schaeffler, that I'm going to issue a judgment in your favor, but it's not going to be a crippling judgment against your brother. I think that he understands that what he did was wrong. You're entitled to a monetary award. You had some pain and suffering. Certainly you understand what his situation is. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
I caused my brother unnecessary suffering. I mean, at least he got a little bit of something for it, as opposed to the hell and grief I gave him.
He needed something to happen to him to get him to see reason and behave himself, because he's kind of out of control.
A lot of pain. It's bleeding everywhere, and it was not good.
I wasn't verbally assaulting him or berating him. I was just telling him, you really need to leave my house. You need to go because I can't deal with you anymore and the drama that you make and the trouble that you cause,
I just want him to know I love him and I'm sorry.
I don't know that if he's changed his mentality or his way of thinking and behaving. I mean, he says that, but he always would tell me that, and then he would go back to doing the same things right after.
Only time will tell.
Yes, there is a chance to put the relationship back together.
I felt so sad for both of those brothers. Clear that the defendant has issues. His brother seems like a very nice young man and really tried very hard to help his brother.
One incident, though, can turn it all
Okay,
sour.
well, I really don't think it did, Sarah. The defendant said he felt terrible. I said, how did you feel? It was 2 months. He said, I felt terrible. He knew he had just lost it for that moment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they love each other.
Seems like he's on the path to getting the help that he needs and getting on the right track, though. So that's at least positive to see.
Sad. But I think he has a supportive family. I still think that he's supportive of him, which is very mature, very grown up, and for the defendant, very lucky.
Yeah.
Kyle Bishop is suing his former business partner, Bridget Pinder, for the return of ice cream equipment.
Court, come to order.
All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 3137, Bishop versus Pinder.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Bishop, you and Ms. Pinder are both in the business of products that contain CBD.
CBD and THC, Your Honor.
CBD and what?
THC.
You have to tell me what that is. Some people don't know.
It's a cannabis derivative.
That's good for what?
It's good for pain management, sleep, stuff like that.
And your particular specialty was CBD's infused ice cream.
Correct.
And you take that for pain management.
You can.
What else do you take it for?
You can take it recreationally, too, if you want.
Just to be happy?
Just to be happy.
It would seem to me that that's why you would take ice cream.
Sure.
Just to be happy. How long have you been involved in that business?
Since 2018, Your Honor.
Just my own curiosity. How'd you get involved in the ice cream part of CBDs?
It was basically just a fun way to infuse the CBD or THC.
And how do you buy the CBDs? Does it come in a box?
It comes in a distillate. So it's comes in a liter jar.
A liquid?
Yep.
And where do they get that from?
They extract it from the plant itself.
And you buy it from a company?
Yeah, yep, the extraction company, yep.
Where are they located?
In Oregon.
Must be a good business.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and you invested in this ice cream machinery.
Mm-hmm.
I assume there's no difference between the ice cream machinery to make ice cream.
No, none at all.
And the one to make ice cream infused with CBD.
None.
Okay. When did you purchase the equipment?
So the freeze dryer was purchased on February 22nd of 23. That was just one of the machines, one of the three.
And how much was that machine?
That machine was exactly $2,904.02.
Okay.
But there's also interest on it, because I'm doing a payment plan on it.
Just tell me what the second piece of equipment was.
Sure. And that would be a winter ice cream machine.
Okay, when did you purchase that?
This one was purchased on January 9th of 22. That was the second ice cream machine that I have.
And the third one?
I don't have the exact date, but I do have proof of purchase.
What was the year?
22.
Did you buy it from a private party?
Yes.
Okay. And how much was that?
That was $250.
Okay. And the one that you bought on January 9th, 2022 was how much?
$300.
$34.54 is what you paid for the equipment.
Correct.
You have any loans out on the equipment?
I do. Yep.
And that would be on the one you purchased in 2023?
Correct.
And how much is left on that?
I actually don't know. I just keep making payments on it.
When was the last time you made a payment on it?
This month.
Now, Ms. Pinder, you're in the same business, and what I gather was he leased some space and then he had some trouble in his space. You used to be in that space, and you were moving into new space.
We were already in new space.
You were already in new space, and he asked you if he could move his ice cream equipment over to your space and sell stuff out of your space.
Correct. We were going to collaborate. I'm sorry.
And when was that?
That was in July of 2023.
And that was the plan. He had his ice cream infused, and you are involved in CBDs. What kind? What do you sell?
So we grow, process, and make all of our own products. So we have a hemp farm where we grow all of our own hemp, and then we process it ourselves. So we get an oil rosin out of our plant, and then we take that and we use that in our products. We were going to collaborate with Kyle on an ice cream product, and that is how we ended up
So she would supply the liquid?
No, she didn't supply anything.
No, she would.
Sorry.
I didn't say she did. I said if you're going to collaborate, were you going to buy your product from her?
We could, yes.
I actually did supply. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that sounds like a collaboration.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if she processes her own liquid.
Right, but it's more cost effective to buy it in bulk the way I was doing it versus making it.
So how were you going to collaborate with her?
It was going to be a 50-50 partnership between the profit made.
So you were going to go into her space, make and sell your ice cream.
Right.
And she would get half the profit.
Right.
In exchange for your rent. Is that the deal?
We didn't have a deal on rent or anything.
Okay, so you didn't have a deal on rent, but you were going to split profits on his product.
Correct.
Okay, and there was a kerfuffle between the two of you when?
About July 26th, 2023.
And you were no longer collaborating after that?
Correct.
Correct.
And you still have his ice cream equipment in your store?
Correct. And the reason that I have his ice, oh, okay.
And that's what he wants back.
Well, no, actually, I do. I just want the value. I don't want the equipment anymore.
I don't care what you want.
Sure.
You want your equipment back.
Well, actually, I want the value of the equipment.
She's not going to pay you for the equipment. If I rule that she has to give it back to you, she's going to give it back to you. You got to go pick it up from wherever it is. Okay.
Kyle Bishop claims his former business partner, Bridget Pinder, is wrongfully withholding his ice cream equipment. Bridget is countersuing for the cost of CBD products and defamation.
Now, there's a theory that you're holding on to his equipment, that he has some of your product.
Yes, ma'am.
So, in effect, what you did was put a lien on his equipment, even though you didn't put a lien on it.
Correct.
You have to return his equipment.
Okay.
And you have 5 days to do that. You go there if you need to go there with a sheriff or a marshal. We'll put that in the order.
I've already done that once. I've already done that once, Your Honor.
Well, now you do it with an order. 5 days, you pick up your equipment. Okay. Now, you paid $34.54 for the equipment. Would you mind telling me why you're suing for $7,000?
Basically for damages done to the business as well.
What damages?
Loss in profit and wages.
How do you know that? What proof do you have of that?
I can't sell any product, Your Honor.
Well, what proof do you have of what you could sell?
I do have other clientele that would purchase.
How do I know that? You get your equipment back.
Okay.
Be happy. Now, she has a counterclaim. She says you have some of her product.
I do.
First, how did you come into possession of her product?
We agreed upon the old space that we were both currently at. It was a 60-40 split.
Just a minute. You mean in your old place that you left?
Yes. Yep.
Before you left the old space, she gave you some of her product for you to sell.
Right. And then I still owed on that product after closing.
Did you have a written contract?
No.
How did you keep track of what she had given you to sell?
We would basically just do it through the POS system.
The what?
The POS system, point of sales.
On my end, I would keep track of every time I would bring product out to the store, or one of my employees would bring product. And then I also have copies of my wholesale books and my lists, if you would like, so that you can see how much things cost. And
Mr. Bishop, I'd like you to take a look at this and see if this represents a fair and accurate representation of the product that Ms. Pinder gave you to sell on consignment.
These are the correct products, but not the quantity.
Do you have what the quantity is?
I do not.
Well, why don't you keep it? I mean, you're in business. If you don't have it and she has it, then I must rely on what she has. Mr. Bishop, you got to stop eating all that ice cream, sir.
No, I do have conversations.
You eat up all the product, you know, you're not in business anymore. So where is all of her product?
It's in storage right now.
How long has it been in storage?
About 4 months.
What's the exact date it went into storage?
I don't know, Your Honor.
July was when he left his store. So
it was actually May 11th was the last day, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm sorry, May 11th was his last day. And our products are not very shelf stable. They have about 6 months to a year shelf stability. So those products would not be viable anymore.
Tell me, Mr. Bishop, how come you put the products in storage in May?
That's just because we're transferring over to a new spot. Well, trying to anyway. And then we're just continually trying to find a new spot.
Well, what happened with her spot?
We had a fallout, so.
He was never coming to my new spot. His old spot is where that I was in prior to him renting it. So we've never been in business together. We've never had like a spot or anything like that together.
But that was the plan.
No, it was not.
That was the plan.
The plan was for him to make ice cream in our processing facility, but not for us to ever share storefront together.
So his ice cream equipment was placed by him in your processing facility, not the store?
Correct.
So he never really used it to make ice cream?
No, I asked him multiple times in multiple text messages to come in and make the product because we were supposed to be making a product together. And he would always give me excuses like, I don't have gas money, I can't get there today, this and that. And then the product not being viable, we also went back and forth with that. I kept asking him to make something with a longer shelf life, things like that. So that didn't happen.
May I see some of the text messages?
Yeah.
And then I'd like you to tell me
So these are in order. This is from where we were talking in July 26th. There's a, so this is me asking for my products back. Maybe we'll start with that. I don't know. I don't know if you want the whole thing.
Yeah, okay. I want everything. The defendant said to you, I'll need my products back and money you owe me first. I assume you asked for your ice cream equipment.
Correct.
I've been asking you for weeks when you're coming in, and you didn't, so now I don't have time. Well, how much did you owe her in July? Mr. Bishop, you clearly, based upon all of these messages, owe her money.
Correct.
And you owe her some serious money in July. And what you're doing is saying to her, listen, I'm not doing well right now, so you got to stop stressing me. You're asking her to be like your mother. I owe you money, but don't talk to me about that now, because I'm very stressed.
It was only
and I have to make money, and I need my freezer equipment to make money, and you won't give it to me. That's what you're saying to her. Now, he says to you, I know I owe you $700, and it's just frustrating that the faucet just shut off. Trust me, I know. But we need to work together on this to make it work. There is a spot in Glencoe for $800, all utilities with a small kitchenette, and only asking for 1 year's rent. I can sell things and do DoorDash to meet that.
The $700, Your Honor, that was for product he had sold in the store, not for the product of mine that he still has. So I agree
so
that
what he,
yeah, he was
so
selling our products.
That's not right, Your Honor.
So that was the $700 that he had sold that he owed us from selling the product, but he still has all of my other products in storage.
He has other inventory.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Bishop, I'm reading all these messages, and it appears that you said to her, I owe you $700.
Correct.
Now, in my rudimentary business mind, that means that that is not materials that you had of hers that are currently in storage, but materials that you sold and were her part of the profits. You said it was a 60-40 split in the old store.
That was for the collaboration we were going to do.
No, that's for what you sold already. That's for what you sold, and you didn't pay her.
But there's no way I have $10,000 worth of product. There's absolutely
Well, but you see, I don't know that because you just took it and didn't keep inventory. You just took it. Gimme, 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 gimme. I want to make some ice cream.
I wanted him to succeed. I want a lot of people to succeed. And so I try to help others in our community, and that's what I was trying to do here, Your Honor.
She actually had a lobbyist group make my product illegal. I don't know how that's helping me.
Because it's illegal.
Correct. She made it illegal.
Kyle Bishop has accused his former business partner, Bridget Pinder, of refusing to return his ice cream equipment. Bridget is countersuing, claiming Kyle owes for the cost of CBD products.
So my question to you, Mr. Bishop, is how much money did you owe her?
Only $700, Your Honor.
I want you to show me how you get to that figure.
Sure.
Your Honor, that was this. Okay.
There's her. Oop. Excuse me, sir.
What you're showing me is $700 that you already owe her for products that you sold.
Right, but that's all that was owed.
Well, what's in storage?
It's about like $500 worth of product. It's not much.
That's not what she says.
Right, that's what she said.
Why didn't you give it back to her?
I mean, we tried talking. I even brought a cop for a civil standby. We couldn't really work it out.
What do you mean you couldn't work it out? Why don't you just give her back all the products that you had back in July? They were still good.
Well, I was going to sell those in my new spot. I thought I was going to get a new spot by next month, but that never panned out, unfortunately.
Well, that's not her fault.
Right.
You kept stuff that didn't belong to you.
Right. But I do have text messages saying that I was going to sell that in the new spot.
But you didn't.
Well, I can't.
Why?
Because I don't have a new spot.
Well, that's not her fault.
Right. No, I know it's not.
You've been eating too much ice cream, Mr. Bishop. Try chicken and fish. It'll help you out a lot. It's good for your brain.
Your Honor.
What?
He's also been defaming us on social media and YouTube, which I have copies of. He also has product with our logo on them still on his Facebook page that we've asked him to take down multiple times, which he hasn't, and he laughs at us about.
May I see?
Yeah. The picture of the YouTube, Your Honor, is him sharing our text messages that I gave you on YouTube, calling us thieves.
Okay. I was saying, if you don't want to see the picture on the front page of the New York Times, don't take the picture. And if you don't want to see something republished, don't send a text message about it, because it can be republished. I don't know what this means. Can you get away with stealing? #law, #education. What is that?
The content of that was actually a guy stealing a watch and then the state pressing charges against the guy that stole. So telling her basically that the state would press charges against her for stealing my stuff.
But taking my business in it.
She actually should not have retained your stuff without the intervention of a court, but that's why we're here now, sir.
Correct.
And the defendant says that the value of the merchandise that you have is not, as you speculate, $500 or whatever, but more in the neighborhood of, she says, thousands of dollars, because you're suing for a congregate amount of $10,000. You break that up in product and in defamation. Now, you have a fixed amount that I can see of what product you gave him, when, and your cost on them. You have that?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
It's on the back sheet of the one that I gave you, 11,000, the one that looks like this, Your Honor.
Okay. You asked him for his stuff.
I did.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember what he told you?
He told me that he was going to be getting a new space and that he was going to sell my stuff in his new space. So I asked him multiple times for my things back, because I know that they're not going to do well in a storage space. I even told him, give them back to me, and I will give you new stuff when you open your new space.
That's not true, Your Honor.
It is true, Your Honor. That's what
There's no text messages saying that.
No, I told that to him.
It really doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, because I wanted him to succeed. I'm in the part of our huge part of our community.
That's not true, Your Honor.
And
Don't interrupt
her. I wanted him to succeed. I want a lot of people to succeed, and so I try to help others in our community, and that's what I was trying to do here, Your Honor.
She actually had a lobbyist group make my product illegal. I don't know how that's helping me.
Mr. Bishop, let me ask you this question. You're coming to court today asking for the return of your equipment.
Correct. But now I can't even make the product because it's illegal now.
Because it's illegal.
Correct. She made it illegal.
Wow. She's not a legislator. She may have lobbied to make it illegal, but she's not a legislator.
Well, no, she used a group called...
I don't care, Mr. Bishop. You have to understand. I don't care. What I'm saying to you is you're coming into a court of equity and you're saying, I want my equipment back, which I can still use because it's equipment. And
well, I
Ms.
can't
Pinder,
use it to make ice cream.
I don't care what you use it for. You can use it to make ice cream, so you just can't make it with CBD-infused ice cream.
Correct.
Make as much ice cream as you like. And as far as the defendant is concerned, if you can't make CBD-infused ice cream, she has no use for the equipment.
Correct.
Except to sell it. But if you can't use it, is that right?
Correct.
If you can't use it, then you really don't want it back.
Correct.
Then I'm not going to give it to you back.
Okay.
And I'm going to take off the value based upon what you owe her, because she can't use the product anymore. Its shelf life is gone, and you've retained it. Do you understand?
Correct.
So she says the value of her product is $11,000. My court maximum is $10,000. She's got the equipment that you can't use. I don't know what she can sell it for. You paid $3,000 for the equipment. You have $10,000 worth of stuff that you can no longer use because he's retained it in storage. Sell whatever you can of his ice cream equipment.
Okay.
I'm awarding you $7,000 on your counterclaim.
Thank you, Judge.
The plaintiff's claim is dismissed. On the counterclaim, $7,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Adjourned.
We just had a disagreement, unfortunately. We had a bit of a falling out, so.
He wouldn't show up to make the product. The shelf life on the product was not long enough, and it wasn't reliable.
They put in law that my ice cream is now illegal, so.
We did not do that. We did not get anything banned. We worked really hard to get THC legalized in Minnesota, and that's what we did.
Oh, we're just gonna move forward.
We will never work with him in the future.
I should have asked whether these products that contain the CBDs that she sells, that he took and has in storage, I wonder if they have an expiration date.
A lot of them do. I think it's a plant derivative. Sometimes, you know, balms or salves that have CBD in them do all have an expiration
date on it.
Just because they do come from a plant derivative, so they have some form of expiration on
date. Yeah, you see that, you know, when products that you buy in the grocery store.
It sounded
best
accurate
used by.
when she said 6
that
months to a
expires 6
year
months.
around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been a good question.
Okay, so you hit his parked car.
Yes, ma'am. I was coming from being chased.
There was no speeding car following you. They should have been right behind you.
I turned, and I guess maybe they kept going straight.
I guess not.
Yeah. This is Judy Justice. Andre Skates is suing motorist Melissa LaChapelle for vehicle and property damage.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 3132, Skates versus LaChapelle.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. LaChapelle, I'm going to start with you because this case is relatively simple. You hit his parked car and moved it from the street where it was by virtue of the force of the hit onto somebody else's lawn.
Yes, ma'am.
And the date that you did that was May 1st of last year. What time of the day?
I believe it was in the afternoon.
What do you mean you believe it was in the afternoon? How many times have you hit a parked car?
My first.
Well, then I would know what time it was. Approximately what time was it on May 1st?
Around 2, 3 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Yes.
Where were you coming from?
I was coming from being chased.
Where were you coming from?
Prior to the accident, I was just sitting in a parked car. So I was driving, and I had a conference call come in, so I just pulled over so I don't drive.
You pulled over randomly. And parked where?
On Florence and Western.
How far is that from where you hit his parked car?
Maybe about a couple of miles.
Did it take you 5 minutes to get there? 10 minutes to get there? How long were you traveling?
15 minutes.
So you were driving for 15 minutes from the time your car was parked until you got to where you hit his car?
Yes, ma'am.
And what kind of car were you driving?
A Dodge Journey.
Was it your car?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it totaled as a result of this accident?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you're going to tell me the story that you're going to tell me about the circumstances surrounding your hitting his parked car.
Well, on September 16th of 2022, I had a hair appointment. I showed up at my hairdresser, and there was no show, no call. So moving forward, I set an appointment with another young lady in the salon, and I got my hair done. And so when I reached to make the payment to pay her, I came across being scammed. So I explained to
Came across being?
Scammed, like someone hacked my bank account for the funds.
Okay, and you have proof of that from your bank?
No, I do not have that.
So the answer
bank
is,
account.
just a second. So the answer is, you do not have any proof as to the beginning of this story?
No,
Okay.
I have no proof of the bank account being hacked.
Well, but you showed the hairdresser, according to you, that your bank account had been hacked, that's why you couldn't pay her.
Correct.
Well, I'm just asking you for proof of that.
No, I don't have it on me.
So you don't have it?
No.
Well, that's easy enough to get. Your bank account was hacked. We're not talking about 30 years ago. We're talking about a year and a half ago. So you would have had that, if the story you're giving me is true. What's the name of the hairdresser? Have you ever used her since?
No, never.
No. What was the name of the hairdresser that you had an appointment with that you didn't see that day? Have you seen her since?
Not since the incident of wrecking his car. I seen her on that day.
So you haven't seen either the person you were supposed to see or the person you stiffed in September of 2022,
no.
Right? And then, allegedly, on the day of this incident, you saw one of them?
Yes.
Yes. As you were sitting in a parked car where you had randomly pulled over to make a conference call. I'm just following the story. And then what you said in your answer was these people started to chase you.
They started to vandalize and attack me in my car first.
So you took off?
Yes.
Now, you had been on a conference call. Did you stop the conference call?
I just dropped the phone.
The answer is you stopped the conference call.
Yes.
But you still had your phone.
Yes.
and somebody was chasing you, according to you, for 15 minutes in your car where you were with your phone. Just want to know that.
Yes, ma'am.
Someone was chasing you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a lot of baloney. Okay, so you hit his parked car, and this was a 1981 Oldsmobile Cutlass, is that right?
Yes.
That you had been working on, restoring. Now, when had you purchased it?
I purchased it in, when did I purchase that? It was
Just a second, the questions get harder. When had you purchased it? A month before, a week before, a year before?
2.5 years ago.
When you purchased the car, who did you purchase it from?
I don't have his last name, but I have it in my phone. But his name was Jose, and he was from San Diego, and that's where I purchased it from.
And how much did you pay him for the car?
I paid him $10,000 for it.
And you also have proof of that?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Well, I don't have proof of that. I don't think I brought the bill of sale with me, though. That sucks. I know you needed that. Do I got the bill of sale? No, I don't have the bill of sale. Hold on. Let me see what's in my phone from that date. Where did it go down?
Yes or no, sir? That's a very easy thing. Don't waste my time here if you don't have a bill of sale in your phone.
I don't have it in my phone.
Okay, very good. And you don't have it there. Okay. You have a video of this accident?
Yeah, I do.
Keep looking.
Okay, all right.
Do you have a video of this accident?
Yes, I do.
Play it. I want to see what the car looked like.
Andre skates, claims motorist Melissa LaChapelle owes for damages after Melissa struck his classic Oldsmobile Cutlass. Melissa says she was fleeing from a dangerous situation.
Now, you say that you were notified that your car was hit. You were either on your way to or from work. What kind of work do you do?
Security.
And you left your house. I assume it's a private house. Do you rent or do you own?
I rent.
How much do you pay in rent?
$1,000.
To whom?
To the landlord.
How do you pay him?
I pay him through Cash App.
And you were driving to work, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, what kind of car do you have?
2008 Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT.
Do you have a note on the car or do you owe it free and clear?
Yes, I do have a note on it.
And you pay for your car payment from a bank account, right?
Mm-hmm, yes.
I'd like to see your bank account where you paid $10,000 for this car.
Oh, you'd like to see it? Oh.
Oh, yeah, I want to see that. Because I assume if I said, could I see a check for the $10,000, you don't have a check.
No, because I pay cash.
Just a second. Well, you don't carry $10,000 in cash because you can transfer the cash just like you do for your landlord.
Yes,
right?
Yes. And you don't want to carry that
for your
amount.
car payment. So that's the way your generation, not mine, but your generation pay things. They walk over to a machine and they go like this with their phone, and it's paid. So you pay your other bills that way, sir. So you don't walk around with cash. I want to see where you had $10,000 in the bank 2 years ago.
I know you're going to ask me that. Okay.
You want to see a photo?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, what about classics? So tell me how much this is. Oldsmobile Cutlass. Okay.
So they range. There's some that are very expensive, like $28,000 that I've seen that are fully restored. And then there are some, like this one was $22,000. But then there's
This
some,
is the 81, yeah.
Yeah, but then there are some that were not restored that I saw for about $8,000 or $9,000.
Mm-hmm. Not restored.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
While he's looking, you have a copy of the police report?
No, we didn't have a police report because no one was injured.
That's not why you don't have a police report on that kind of an accident. Could have killed somebody. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Skates, let's go. Do you have it or do you not have it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have it. It was 2 years ago, so I got to go all the way back.
Well, you should have had it with you. You're suing her for $10,000. So all I want to see is how much you paid for the car. You say you paid $10,000.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have a bill of sale. I just want to see where you had $10,000 in the bank, and then it was paid out to Jose. You do understand, Mr. Skates, that that would be on you. You have a whole bunch of papers there. You do not have a bill of sale on the car. You don't have any proof of what you paid for the car, except your word that you paid $10,000 for it. It's very easy to go back and get those records. We're not talking about 30 years ago.
God, no.
I know. You got a whole lot of papers there that are irrelevant. And your insurance company, according to you, valued the car at $3,500 and paid you because you did have insurance on it.
Yes.
So all I want to see is what you paid for it.
No, I'm trying to...
Just a second. You have a video of this accident?
Yeah, I do.
Keep looking.
Okay, all right.
Do you have a video of this accident?
Yes, I do.
Play it. I want to see what the car looked like. Play it one more time. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm just looking, by the way, Miss LaChapelle, for the people who are chasing you. Because now you hit the car, they should have been right behind you. They were chasing you, right? I'm looking at this, and now you're all slowed down because you fit a car. I don't see one car pass by there. Not a one.
Correct.
Yes, correct. Of course, it's correct.
I turned, so, and I guess maybe they kept going straight. And then that's when I had the accident.
I guess not. Okay. Mr. Skates, I want to tell you, your exercise in exploring your phone to find proof that you paid $10,000 for this car is going nowhere. Got it?
Yes.
Now, you insured the car, correct? This old car, because it was going to have value once you restored it.
Yes.
Now, restored, the average price is about $10,000. That's what Sarah tells me, correct?
It ranges, but I could find a couple if you want.
No, it ranges 9, 10, 11. It can go anywhere around that amount, but that's fully restored, right?
Well, restored means like when that's mint condition. Like, 'cause when it's in mint condition, that's how much it would go for, like 9 or 10,000. But the features that were on the car were extra couple little features that people like on those cars, which is the stick in the floor and the T-top features that are on there that people
I have
like.
no idea, sir. Show me what the car looked like before she hit it.
There we go, right here. This is the one with the rims. Here goes one. Where's the other one at?
Oh, that's good looking. Now, when you bought the car, sir, was it running? Were you able to drive it back from Jose's?
No, I had to get it towed.
So when you bought it, it was not running.
No.
So you didn't pay $10,000 for it.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I don't believe that, sir. There's one car available for sale that's a 1981 Oldsmobile Cutlass that's drivable, that's $5,100, not fully restored. That's today.
That's why I was saying the features that it has on
I
it.
don't care about the features. You bought a non-running car that had to be restored to running so that you could resell it. You hoped for a profit, but there's no way you spent $10,000 on the car, because then if you were putting in all new parts and restoring it, you would never be able to recoup your money.
Yes, you can.
No.
Can I explain? Because I put a lot of money into it, and the resale value once.
Just a second.
Okay.
So far, I don't believe that you paid $10,000 for it, not running. Now you're going to show me what you put into the car.
Okay.
You see, if you told me the truth, sir, and if the insurance company only paid you $3,500, I would have paid you what the value of a non-running car would be, plus everything that you put into it, less the $3,500 that the insurance company paid you for it. So if you have everything that you put into it, the only thing you don't have is what you paid for it. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct on that part.
Okay, so now let me see what you put into it.
Oh.
You told them that you had insurance, and you didn't have insurance.
I did not tell them I had insurance. I told them the truth. The same thing I told you.
You know, I want to introduce you both to the truth. Hello, how are you? I understand who you are. Thank you very much.
Andre Skates has accused motorist Melissa LaChapelle of crashing into his classic Oldsmobile Cutlass. Melissa claims she was being chased by another vehicle.
Now, all of your receipts for the car parts that you purchased total $9,393. Less the $3,500 that you were paid by your insurance leaves just for the parts alone $5,893. Even if you paid $5,000 for the car, you're at $10,000. Do you understand?
Yes.
So if you would given me a figure that I understood, because right now you want me to believe that a man who works very hard in security paid $10,000 for the car and $10,000 for parts.
Yes.
And the average range for the car is?
Between 9 and 18.
Between 9 and 18,000.
Yes.
To buy a restored car, and you've already put in $20,000 in the car before you sold it. And I don't even know if it was ready to be sold. Do you understand?
That's how much I was going to sell it for. It was like $20,000. That's what I was trying to explain.
Just so I understand that. You've already, if you want me to believe, sir, that you bought the car for 10, you're already at 20. So even if you sold the car for its highest price, which is 20, you'd be breaking even. That's not what you bought it for.
Well, no.
You bought it to make money.
No, I bought it to keep it, actually, because it was a sentimental value. I said I bought it to keep it because this was something that I wanted to have for a while, because this was something that was kind of sentimental to me, because we all used to ride these cars when I was younger, so it was something that I kind of enjoyed and liked, and I wanted to keep it. I wasn't planning on selling it right away once I finished.
How old are you?
44.
So what you're telling me is you remember driving around in this car when you were 2 years old?
No, in my 20s.
You know, I want to introduce you both to the truth. Hello, how are you? I understand who you are. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Skates, you're owed some money from her, even though you've inflated some figures. She owes you some money. Do you have any reports from the police on this?
I have the vehicle incident report.
I'd like to see it, please. Can I see just the proof from your insurance company, please, of what they paid you out on the car? And her insurance paid you, is that right?
No.
Was your insurance?
Oh, you said my insurance? Yeah, my insurance paid me, not her.
Why didn't you? Hey.
Her insurance paid me.
Put your phone down.
Oh, I have it on my email.
Why didn't your insurance pay him out?
I didn't have insurance. I was switching my insurance policy to a new company.
Oh.
And I got
So
into
just
an
a second.
accident.
So when there was a traffic report, you told the police you had AAA insurance, because that's what's in the report.
No, they asked me for my information, and that's what I told them.
Well, I said that's what you told them. You told them that you had insurance and AAA was your insurance company.
Well,
and that's a lie.
The paperwork.
Just a
that I
second.
had.
That's a lie. You told them that you had insurance and you didn't have insurance, and there was no speeding car following you.
I did not tell them I had insurance. I told them the truth, that the same thing I told you.
No, you didn't, because then they would have given you a summons for driving your car without insurance if you created the kind of an accident. Did they give you a summons? No.
No.
Okay. Some piece of work. So your policy limit was $3,500. Is that
Yes.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where is the car now?
The car?
It's not an answer. Where is the car now?
In front of my yard.
Okay, so you have it.
Yes.
And this incident took place on May the 1st.
Yes.
Why is it still at your house?
Because I plan on getting another one and rebuilding it.
So you plan on using it?
Well, I plan on using it for parts because I can't do anything else with it.
Or you plan on using it for parts, whatever it is. Do you have a photograph of it?
Yes, I
now,
do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
There's a couple more.
Oh, gee whiz.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way you can use this car. Why don't you just scrap it?
Well, because I was planning on, if I took her to court and wanted some money, I was going to try to buy another one, rebuild it, use some of the parts off of that one, and try to get my car back, you know? That's just, I mean, it's a big loss for me. But I mean, what am I going to do? I mean, that's all, only way I can see I can get back, you know?
Okay. Valuing the car at $10,000, which is $9,000 what you put into the car. I have no idea what you paid for it. You got $3,500. I'm awarding you a judgment, sir, of $6,500 against the defendant. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $6,500. We're finished here. I would have taken your license away.
This court is adjourned.
because I was running from someone chasing me for my life. It was self-defense.
That she was being chased by some girls, that they stole some hair or something like that. And I was like, well, where are they? We didn't see anybody there. If they were chasing you, why didn't they stop and come and get you? Why didn't you crash? Because that was their time to get you if they were going to get you.
Because the person was not turned down the street as me, so it is what it is.
But then she mentioned it to the judge, but didn't mention it to the police. And she said it to me because I was wondering why you were going so fast down a narrow street with a bump on it. And that's what she said, that some girls were chasing her over some hair.
I am still driving, but not that vehicle. It's total.
It's time to get a new one.
You know, common sense is a great indicator of truth. And I think that if the defendant's story was true, that she was being chased and harassed by these two hairdressers, you have your phone in your car. You laid it out perfectly, that you make a quick 911. You call them and you say, oh my God, these crazy people are chasing me. or none of it ever happened.
Or when you finally cause an accident like that and your car is severely damaged, and there's nobody chasing you.
Yeah.
You stop to wait for the police, and when the police finally come, because she was looking to boot out of there, you say, these women were chasing me. I know who they were.
Yeah.
You would create a police report.
Yep.
Just a whole lot of who shot John. It's unbelievable to me that people can make up interesting stories. In 2022, she had one hairdresser appointment. She had
Very intricate.
Very, very intricate. Nobody has any proof.
Yeah, they never do.
Sometimes they do, but not in fishtails like this. She sent the video to your employer, and your employer fired you.
Something like that, yes.
No.
Tell me what proof you have that she sent it. No, I want you to think about it.
My witness was supposed to be here.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
This is Judy Justice. Stephanie Perez is suing her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Bowen, for money she loaned him for attorney fees.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge.
How are you, Kevin?
Case number 3015, Perez versus Boeing.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Interesting. Miss Perez, you met Mr. Bowen at a truck stop. Tell me when that was and how that happened.
In January, and we both worked there.
January of this year,
Of
2020.
last year.
2022.
Yes.
And you began dating, and you, at some point, moved into his home?
I was staying there helping with his kids.
You were staying there?
Yes, I still had my own home.
So you were staying there. Were you there 5 days a week, 7 days a week?
The whole 2 months.
Okay, so you were living there for 2 months. Who was living in your house?
Nobody.
I assume you weren't just staying there to take care of his kids, that the two of you were a couple during that 2-month period. This is what your case is about. During that period of time, Mr. Bowen had physical custody full-time of his children. 2 children?
Correct, Your Honor.
And how long had you had custody of them?
I've had custody of them since 2020.
So since they were infants?
Pretty much, yes.
Did you then have court-ordered legal custody?
Yes, ma'am.
There came a time while you were living together, according to the complaint that I read, that the mother came back into the picture and was seeking custody of the children.
Correct.
And Mr. Bowen needed an attorney.
Yes.
It is your claim that you loaned him $2,000 for an attorney.
Yes.
Things didn't work out between the two of you, and you left, and it was an unpleasant parting. It was not an amicable parting. That be a fair statement?
Fair.
Fair statement?
For a while, we remained friends after that, too, though.
Well, his counterclaim is going to challenge that.
Right.
Anyway, you want your $2,000 back.
Yes.
I don't know what Mr. Bowen says about the $2,000, maybe that you gave it to him as a gift. He's going to tell me, but he's got a counterclaim. His counterclaim is that you got so angry with him that in a thoroughly vindictive way, you sent a video to his place of employment, which caused him to be fired.
Correct.
And that in addition, you aligned yourself with the mother of his children who was seeking custody of the children.
2 mothers.
2 mothers. They're 2.
Yes, 2 different mothers. Yeah.
You've been busy.
Yeah.
You aligned yourself with those people and created serious difficulty for him by sharing not only the video with them, but also some photographs of him with a BB gun.
Correct, ma'am.
Do you still have custody of the children?
She filed an ex parte order, which plaintiff had help in, and I lost the kids in January and then I got them back in February, and then we just finally got through the court paperwork to where I have them full-time again. The judge still has to finalize them.
So what you're telling me is that in January on an ex parte application, ex parte, that means just the mothers went in themselves, some judge transferred custody without a hearing?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And they originally set it out for 8 months to where I would even be seen.
It used to get me so frustrated, but
it was a tough time.
It was a tough time.
Very much.
Actually outrageous.
Yeah.
And then the children came back to you.
Yeah, actually in February 12th, the mother kind of, I can't do this by myself. And she brought them back, and then I've had them since then the whole time. And we just did last week finalize the paperwork, so we're just waiting.
All right, let's deal with this $2,000 legal fee. Mr. Bowen, did Ms. Perez give you $2,000?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
Okay, tell me the circumstances surrounding her giving you $2,000.
Okay, so in June, one of the mothers of my children wanted to take the custody of the kids back.
Not both children, one.
Well, this was one, and then I have another kid. They got involved, and she did an ex parte order using the exact same paperwork, word for word, everything was the same. Pretty much copy and pasted one to the other.
You're going into too much information for me. I like this all linear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, June 2022.
We were looking for an attorney. She actually was going to give me $7,000 for an attorney that her mother had used, but I was like, that's way too much, so let's try to find something cheaper, and that's where we found somebody.
Well, this is a we. This is not.
Well,
this is
me and
really
her.
your problem.
Right.
This is really your problem. I want to know how she got involved with giving you money.
I'll give you the money, no problem. Here, do you want $7,000 for this lawyer in Bakersfield that my mother used, who I know is a rock star? And I said, no, let's find something else, a little bit localer. And I found the one in Lancaster for $3,500.
And did you go to the attorney in Lancaster?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go with her or alone?
I went by myself.
Did you ask her if she wanted to go with you?
No.
Okay, so you went by yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you went to the lawyer, you got a fee, you were quoted a fee?
Yes, $3,500.
When you were at the office, that would be in June.
Yes.
And when you got that quote and you liked that lawyer,
yes,
then I assume you went home to where Ms. Perez was taking care of your children.
Yes, ma'am.
Which she was doing, by the way.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
You weren't paying her anything.
No, not at all.
And she was still paying for her own house, where she maintained another resident.
Yes. She was there because her children went to another state for the summer. So she just stayed with me while the kids were gone for summer. Then
She stayed with you for a reason. She didn't stay with you. I assume you don't live at a lake.
No.
No. Well, you don't live at the beach, right?
I wish, but no.
No, but you don't live at the beach. So now you've got a lawyer's quote for $3,500. You go home to Ms. Perez and you say, dear, I like this lawyer. He only charges $3,500. Is that something like the conversation?
Something like that, yes.
Something like that. Now I want to hear where the $2,000 came from.
Stephanie Perez claims her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Bowen, owes for an unpaid loan. Matthew is countersuing for lost wages and slander.
Now I want to hear where the $2,000 came from.
I had...
No. I said, dear, I like this lawyer. He's only $3,500.
She says, here's $2,000 and I have $1,500, and we made it happen.
Okay, here's $2,000.
Yep, yes.
And you said, I have $1,500.
Correct.
Well, you must have said, I have $1,500 first.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
You must have said his fee is $3,500. I have $1,500, because otherwise she wouldn't have known to say, here's $2,000.
Correct,
Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So let's try to get it right.
Yes, Your Honor.
You went home and you said, dear.
I have $1,500. The lawyer's $2,000.
And
we need to make it happen. I need to make it happen.
Were those your words? I need to make it happen? No. I want you to think about it. Don't pull information out of an orifice. Just, if you don't remember, say, I don't remember exactly what I said.
Then I don't remember exactly what was said.
Okay, you don't remember.
Correct.
Do you remember exactly how it happened? Voila. Love it. Okie dokie. Go.
He needed $3,500, and I would only give him $2,000 because I didn't have any more.
I want to hear the conversation.
Okay, he said it was $35. I said that I could.
No, he came home from the lawyer.
He came home.
And you must have said what happened, or I want to hear the conversation.
He actually had talked to them on the phone, and they quoted him that price.
Okay.
He needed the money to go over there. So.
Oh, that's a different story.
Yes.
You see, she remembers. Perfect. So he spoke to the lawyer on the phone.
Yes.
Tell me.
He said that it was $3,500. All I was able to help with, I was off work at the time, so I used my savings. I said I could help him.
I know that you gave him the $2,000. I want to hear how it came about.
I told him that I would need help when my bills came due, that I would help him with the money, but I was not working, that he would have to help me with my bills, and he agreed to that, so I wired the money bank to bank.
To the lawyer's bank or to his bank?
No, to Mr. Bowen's account, because we have the same
and
bank.
what was said exactly was, you'll have to help me out with my bills when they come.
Yes.
And?
He agreed to that.
Okay.
I wired the money, he went, he took care of everything, and then my bills started to become due. He said he didn't have any money.
Bills? Like what bills?
My mortgage, my electric, my gas.
Okay, and you were still living together?
I was still staying in there, yes.
Yes. In what month? July?
Till the end of June.
Well, when did this transaction take place?
June 6th.
So just a couple of weeks later?
Yes.
Well, where did you expect him to get you $2,000 from?
He was supposed to, as he got...
Well, right now, you don't have a contract for him. It wasn't a loan. Right now, what I'm hearing, which is why I asked for the exact terminology, is saying to him, you'll have to help me out with my bills when they come in, is not a loan.
I also have a bunch of text messages asking, and him saying right now, I know I owe you money.
Then I'd like to see those. These machines can either be a curse or a godsend. Okay, yeah, it doesn't change my position that there has to be a clear contract if there's a loan. I'm borrowing this money, I will pay you back this amount of money, and according to what you told me, he acknowledges, yeah, I'll give you some money when I have it. That's as vague as, you have to help me out with my bills when they start to come in. And he says, sure, I'll help you out. Okay. Now I'm going to come to you, Mr. Bowen.
Yes, ma'am.
It seems from reading these text messages that you acknowledge that you owe her money.
Yes, ma'am.
You acknowledge that in these text messages.
Okay.
Because you don't say, I don't owe you anything. You say, I have a big bill coming in. You know, I'm sorry. I'll try to get some to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you acknowledge that you owe her money.
Yeah, I guess, yes, Your Honor.
Yes, well, that's what this says. It's not specific, but you acknowledge you owe her money. What do you owe her money for?
Well, I guess...
Not a well. Not a well. Well is not an answer.
All right.
What did you owe her money for? Don't look at the sky. I want you to think and focus. Look at me, and that requires I owed her for lamb chops she bought. I owed her for a plumber she paid for, or I owed her for a...
Lawyer fee.
Perfect. Perfect. And the lawyer fee was how much?
$2,000.
Perfect. And how much of that $2,000 did you give her back?
I've maybe given her $100.
Just a second. Did he give you any money back?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it does indicate that he did, in fact, give you some money back.
Yes.
How much did he give you back?
About what he says, $100.
Okay, so you still owe her $1,900. There you go. How great. So even though you didn't have a perfect contract?
I know for the future.
Right. Now we have a counterclaim.
Yes, ma'am.
And the counterclaim is that you were very annoyed with him, which is very ridiculous, Ms. Perez. I understand from reading your papers, and I'm trying to read between the lines, and, you know, you develop a certain amount of wisdom when you get older. He had you at the house for 2 months. Your kids were away for the summer. He has these 2 little kids, right? And he was using you as a babysitter.
Yes.
And you felt used.
I know. I got very attached to him.
To whom?
To
the children or him?
The kids.
So according to your answer and your counterclaim, Mr. Bowen, you were involved in an altercation at work.
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
I worked at Love's.
What is that?
It's a truck stop, and it just services pretty much the big rigs on the road.
Okay. And an incident occurred while you were working.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the date of the incident? Because I'm going to see the video.
September 18th.
Of
2022.
Tell me what happened.
I'm a cashier, and, you know, after doing it for so long, just so you pick things up, you see people coming in and you know they're up to no good. I have my eyes on this one character, and sure enough, He grabs like a $400 party speaker and a bunch of other little electronic stuffs. And he's walking out the store, and I'm trying to get my coworkers' attention who were sitting there talking like, hey, stop him, stop him, stop him. He's stealing. And then nobody like pays attention, and he walks outside, and that's kind of where it started. Is I said, hey, give that stuff back, and I swatted the speaker out of his hand, and that's when he came at me and he attacked me, and I was defending myself. He had a knife, like once you go and you'll see it, like he had like an 8-inch knife.
Stephanie Perez has accused her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Bowen, of refusing to pay back a loan. Matthew is countersuing, claiming Stephanie got him fired after sharing a fight video with his job.
Okay, so you were working and trying to prevent a thief from leaving the area with property that you were responsible for.
Correct.
Okay, well, that sounds perfectly reasonable unless you're living in some ridiculous community that says, oh, you got to let everybody steal. And we don't stop shoplifters because, you know, that's not the American way. Okay, so you were protecting property that was your responsibility because you work at the store.
Correct.
How long had you been working at the store?
I worked at the store up until I got let go for 1.5 years.
Okay, now I'm going to see the video.
Okay, and just for context, like it starts after I swatted the big old box out of his hand.
Is this the video that you allege that the plaintiff sent to your employer?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Both
to
of
the
them.
mother of your children?
2 of them, yes, ma'am.
To 2 of the mothers of your children, in order to assist them in their
ex parte
custody
orders, yes.
in their ex parte application.
Yes.
I have evidence on that too, that
I
he
wanna
asked
tell you
the
something.
baby mom to lie in court today, and that's why she wouldn't come.
I have to tell you something.
Okay.
I don't understand why you would get involved in that anyway.
I didn't.
Okay, so you never sent this video.
He sent me the video,
Just
but I did not send it to corporate.
You didn't send it to anybody is my
No.
question. You didn't send it to...
He sent it to tons of people.
I'm asking you whether you ever sent it to his place of business.
No.
Did you ever send it to either of the people who were the mother of his children?
No, I only know one of them.
And you didn't send it?
No.
Okay, so I'll look at the video, then you'll tell me what proof you have that she sent it.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, take a look.
Punk.
Was that you?
My adrenaline was pumping, Your Honor. I apologize.
What were you yelling at?
At the camera, just at the camera, yeah.
Why were you yelling at the camera?
I turned around and seen it. I didn't even know that the guy was recording it.
Which guy?
There's a random trucker. It's a random trucker.
Who was recording it for what reason? I don't know. You don't know.
I don't know. He just...
Well, how did you get the recording?
He sent it to one of the guys that used to work there as well, and then I got it from him.
You sent it to one of the guys that used to work
Yeah,
at the
that's
truck
on the
stop.
video. I'm not going to say his name, but he's in the video right there.
Okay, so one of your coworkers.
Yes, ma'am.
And this guy who was there, the thief.
Yes.
Was clearly high on something.
Yes. And then, like, if you back it up, you can...
Okay.
There's a smidgen where you see the knife.
I get the picture. Please, I get the picture. Now, what I need is from you proof that she sent that video for whatever reason to your employer, and I need proof that the reason you were fired from your job was because of that video. Because me, I would give you a gold star and make you employee of the month. I would, if I owned the truck stop. So you understand what you have to prove to me?
Yes.
That she sent the video to your employer, and your employer fired you because of the video.
Okay, so my proof on both, my witness was supposed to be here.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah,
I was
right.
supposed to be 5'8", but I had a short car.
Right, I understand that. But the witness that came with me, she bailed just like on everything else, so I don't have any proof of it. It was
So just a sec. So the answer is you don't have any proof of that? Okay, well, that's easy. And what proof do you have that she sent that clip of a video or gave it to one of the mothers of your children?
Yes.
In order to assist them in their custody dispute, which is not illegal, but would be nasty.
I don't.
So you don't?
Don't, yeah. No.
Well, your counterclaim then is dismissed. You understand that?
Yeah.
And you owe her $1,900.
Okay.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
It was a gift while we were together, but as soon as we broke up, it was, oh, now I need my money.
I've asked him for my money, and he refused to give me it.
If you got the right person to make the team, it's good. But if you don't, and it's not a solid connection, it's not worth it.
I'm a single mom. I don't have money just to hand out like that.
Documents, get proof of everything. That's all I could say.
So it's a new phenomenon, this sort of phones first approach to everything.
Oh, you mean
phones
cell phones?
eat first, phones watch the fight first, phones catch everything first. I think how the defendant put it, a random trucker just saw a fight break out, and first instinct is just get your phone out and take a video. And we've seen it in New York City on the subways. We see too many times people taking video and no one is helping do anything. So I felt bad for the defendant. As you said, you would have given him a gold star for what he did if you owned the truck stop. Opinions differ on that.
Sarah, I'm still confused. If the owner of a business says, I don't want you to confront thieves because I don't want you to put your life at risk,
yes.
And that's the reason. But if they're saying, I don't want you to confront thieves because I'm afraid that they're going to be picketing outside my stores because we confronted a thief and stopped a thief, that's a whole different thing. And I'm still not able to follow that mindset. I read something this week that in a very famous, huge chain, 2 employees followed the rules. They did not try to stop the thief who was walking out with hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise, but called the police. And the police stopped them, got them, and the 2 employees were fired. I used to say, when I worked in family court, that the first time a kid gets arrested, there has to be a consequence. You don't imprison a kid for 5 years if they've stolen a bicycle. But there has to be some consequence, just as you do with your own children. You tell them to come in at 10, they come in at 11:30, there has to be a consequence. If you don't, they think as parents, you're full of baloney and there are no rules. Well, that's what's happening here when you think it's okay to go into a store and steal with impunity. I don't understand that. I feel as if I'm living in some alternative universe. Okay, got it out of my system. Thank you.
Of course.